Department of Education Early Childhood Data Use Assessment Tool, a publication of the National Center for Education Evaluation and Regional Assistance at IES. Early Childhood Data Use Assessment Tool. Carrie Germeroth, Jeanette Joyce, Becky Kellerman, and Lynn Bob. March 2021. The Early Childhood Data Use Assessment Tool is designed to identify and improve data use skills among early childhood education (ECE) program staff so that they can better use data to inform, plan, monitor, and make decisions for instruction and program improvement. Data use is critical in quality ECE programs, but can be intimidating for some ECE program staff. This tool supports growth in their data use skills. The tool has 3 components: a data use checklist to identify ECE program staff skills in using child assessments and administrative data, a resource guide to identify professional development resources aligned to goals in improving data use skills, and an action plan template to support planning for developing and achieving data use goals. The results obtained from using the tool are intended to support instruction and program improvement through increased and structured use of data. Contents: Introduction to the Early Childhood Data Use Assessment Tool. 1. Background and overview. 1. Why use the tool? 2. Tool components. 2. Step-by-step guide for using the tool. 5. Step 1. Assemble the data team. 5. Step 2. Complete the data use checklist. 6. Step 3. Consult the resource guide. 10. Step 4. Complete the action plan. 12. References. Ref 1 Appendix A Data Use Checklist. A1 Appendix B Resource Guide. B1 Appendix 100. Action Plan Template. C1 Box 1 Example of completed 8 Posego and Action Plan. 13. Figure 1 Step-by-step process for using the Data Use Assessment Tool. 5. Tables 1 Checklist elements and descriptions. 3. 2 Resource icons and descriptions. 4. 3 XAMPLEO FADATATATFOUNDATIONALLEVELFORELEMENT2. 7. 4 Example of added idiom at the applied level limit 2. 8. 5 Example of a data team at the applied level for element 2 when all exemplary items are checked. 9. 6 Resource icons and descriptions. 11. 7 Example of action steps completed in an action plan. 14. 8 SMART goals and simply action plan goals. 15. 2. Introduction to the Early Childhood Data Use Assessment Tool. This section provides the background and an overview of the Early Childhood Data Use Assessment Tool. Ideally, all members of an early childhood data team will read this section before using the tool. A data team consists primarily of administrators and educators who are responsible for accessing and making sense of data to ensure high-quality programming for early childhood settings. A data team might also include others, such as instructional coaches and paraprofessionals. If it is not possible for all members of a data team to review this section, the data team leader or another designated individual can read the material and summarize it for the other team members. For example, the leader or designee might briefly summarize the key points for the rest of the data team before following the step-by-step guidance to complete the tool. Background and overview through the Results Matter program. The Colorado Department of Education, CDE, aims to improve outcomes for Colorado's 3- and 4-year-old children by helping teachers, administrators, families, and other education stakeholders use authentic child assessment data and administrative data to inform classroom instruction and program and policy decision-making. Colorado Department of Education, 2016. Results Matter provides resources for professional development, including a video library and professional learning modules to support teachers in implementing authentic assessment. However, a gap analysis of these resources revealed that only a few were available to address the use of data in early childhood education (ECE) settings. The current tool was designed to address this gap. The Regional Educational Laboratory, REL, Central partnered with CDE to develop a data use checklist and accompanying resource guide. The checklist and guide were designed to help ECE program staff participating in Results Matter use their existing child assessment and administrative data to make program decisions and inform instructional practices to improve student outcomes. At the conclusion of the project, CDE trained 200 ECE program staff to use the checklist and resource guide in collaboration with the data teams in their school districts. CDE currently uses the original version of the checklist, the Administrative Data Use Self-Assessment, in the Results Matter program to support participating ECE program staff in identifying areas for professional growth. The original versions of the checklist and resource appendixes are available on the Results Matter website, Colorado Department of Education, N.D. 1. Authentic assessment data are defined as data collected through observation of real-life activities within the early childhood setting. For more information, see Macy et al., 2016. 2. Gap analysis refers to a method for comparing existing content with ideal or desired content. 1. Introduction to the Early Childhood Data Use Assessment Tool. The Early Childhood Data Use Assessment Tool builds on and updates the original versions of the checklist and resource appendixes that the REL Central and CDE developed for ECE program staff. The expanded tool for ECE program staff includes a step-by-step guide and action plan template so that ECE data teams and program staff across the country can benefit from this work. Development of the current tool was guided by a review of the literature on data use and its application in ECE settings. Feedback from expert stakeholders during development ensured that the tool included important content related to data use in ECE settings. In addition, interviews with ECE teachers and administrators in Colorado, Missouri, and North Dakota provided insights that could improve tool clarity and relevance. The feedback from these ECE teachers and administrators was incorporated into the final version of the current tool. While you use the tool, ECE program staff and data teams can improve their programs by using child assessment and administrative data to inform instructional practices and program decision-making. Conducting an assessment, such as the Early Childhood Data Use Assessment, is one way for the data team to take stock of its data use skills and improve them. Data teams can build skills with the current tool by first assessing their collective capacity to apply their data use knowledge and skills. Next, data teams can identify which skills to be improved through professional development aligned with data use goals. ECE data teams can also use the tool to prioritize goals by identifying which skills are the most important for data teams to address or what skills need to be improved the most. Prioritizing data use goals, skills development, and available resources are all especially important when staff, time, and program resources are limited. The assessment process in this tool culminates in ECE data teams developing and implementing an action plan to support improvements in their data use skills. For example, tool results may indicate that ECE program staff need to improve their skills in individualizing instruction. In this example, teams might use the tool to identify their proficiency in using and communicating about data to individualize instruction. Doing so could help the team set specific goals. Tool components. The Early Childhood Data Use Assessment Tool includes 3 components: a data use checklist to identify ECE program staff skills in using child assessment and administrative data, a resource guide to identify professional development resources aligned to goals in improving data use skills, and an action plan template to support planning for developing and achieving data use goals. 1. Data use checklist. The checklist has 3 elements: data use planning, data maintenance, use, and communication, and data use monitoring, support, and accountability. See Table 1 for a description of each element and Appendix A for the complete checklist. 2. Introduction to the Early Childhood Data Use Assessment Tool. The checklist items were adapted from other tools developed for similar purposes in various target audiences. The items were modified to fit the needs of ECE program staff and can be used for assessing data use proficiency. The checklist should be used to identify the skill level of ECE program staff as a whole rather than staff in their individual capacities. It should be completed by a data team rather than an individual. In this way, all team members can provide input and learn from reviewing checklist items and developing data use goals and action steps within the action plan. Parents and other family members if available, can play an important role in providing data or information on data use. One way to gather data from families is to conduct a brief survey about their experiences in providing data or information on their children to teachers during parent-teacher conferences. For example, parents might provide data or information to their child's teachers at drop-off by sharing information on how the child slept the previous night or about new skills that the child mastered at home. The survey could be conducted online or on hard copies as families exit the program. This information is important for data element 2, data maintenance, use, and communication on the checklist. Table 1. Checklist elements and descriptions. Checklist element description 1. Data use planning. This element includes items related to planning for data use. It will support the team in identifying members' current skills for developing plans using different types of data. 2. Data maintenance, use, and communication. This element includes items that will help the team identify members' skills in maintaining, using, and communicating data to various audiences. 3. Data use monitoring, support, and accountability. This element includes items that will help the team identify members' skills for ongoing review and monitoring of data use. 2. Resource guide. The resource guide organizes professional development resources by checklist element and item. See Appendix B for the complete resource guide and describes the purpose of each resource. Icons identify the type of resource. The guide includes information, citations, and definitions of terms referenced in each item. 4 primary types of resources are available: videos, tools, presentations, and practitioner briefs and scholarly articles. Table 2. The data team will need to determine which resources and how many to use to develop their targeted data use skills. ECE coaches can provide some guidance to the data team on which and how many resources to use. More information on using the resources is provided in the step-by-step guidance in the tool. 3. Introduction to the Early Childhood Data Use Assessment Tool. Table 2. Resource icons and descriptions. Icon description videos are generally brief recordings that capture practices in action. They can be viewed repeatedly. Many videos in the resource guide are from the Colorado Department of Education's Results Matter video library. Others provide support for each element in the data use checklist. Tools typically contain information on how to use research or evidence-based practice strategies. Tools can include guides or other resources. Team leaders can review tools in printed format and make them available to other team members to support data use goals. Presentations are typically PowerPoint slide decks or posters presented at conferences that contain information or research. The presentation materials can be printed or viewed repeatedly. Practitioner briefs and scholarly articles vary in length and most often report on research or evidence supporting elements of data use. They can be downloaded and studied to support data use. 3. Action plan. After completing the checklist, the data team can use the action plan to develop and prioritize data use goals and skills, identify relevant resources, and develop action steps to achieve the data use goals. By specifying action steps in the action plan, the data team can plan how to achieve their data use goals. Action steps should be specified as precisely as possible and in chronological order. For example, the team could include incorporating child assessment data into family conferences as a data use goal within data element 2. For this example, the team's first action step to prepare individualized data reports before the conferences might be due in 2 weeks. The second step, to prepare a family-friendly summary for each child using the data reports, might be due in 4 weeks. By completing these action steps, the team can work toward the data use goal of improving skills within data element 2. The data team can use the action plan to develop action steps, identify what resources to use and how, decide who will be involved in the action steps, and anticipate challenges. After engaging with the selected resources, the data team can review their progress using the action plan component. How will we know we have completed this action step? The team can then decide next steps for assessing and developing ongoing data use. 4. Step-by-step guide for using the tool. The Early Childhood Data Use Assessment tool includes a data use checklist to identify existing skills in ECE program staff's use of child assessment and administrative data, a resource guide to identify resources aligned to data use goals, and an action plan template to support planning for improved data use. This section describes the 4 steps for using the tool, Figure 1, along with the activities necessary to accomplish them. Figure 1, step-by-step process for using the data use assessment tool. Step 1, assemble the data team. Step 2, complete the data use checklist. Step 3, consult the resource guide. Step 4, complete the action plan. The time needed to complete the tool depends on how the data team decides to use it and on the team's experience and skills in data use. For example, a team with less experience might need more time to learn data use concepts before developing proficiency in a data use skill. Furthermore, if the data use goal identified for improvement is complex, a team might need more time to develop action steps and strategies to complete the action plan. An example of a complex data use goal is training all ECE program staff to use a new formative assessment system. The length and frequency of a data team's meetings, weekly, monthly, or quarterly, to implement steps 1-4 of the tool will also depend on the availability of data team members. To complete steps 1-3, a team might hold 1-hour weekly or monthly meetings. Once the team identifies data use goals and completes the action plan in step 4, meetings may decrease in frequency to bi-monthly or quarterly as the team meets only to review progress or update the action plan. Step 1. Assemble the data team. When assembling the data team to complete the tool, it is useful to consider team composition. A data team can have many configurations, but it is important for team members to have background knowledge on data use and assessment findings. They should know what data are used in the ECE program and how the data are used and communicated within and outside the program. Team members should be committed to using data to plan and make decisions about their program. It is also important that the composition of the data team 5 step-by-step guide for using the tool reflect the languages, cultures, and communities of the families served by the ECE program so that data can be collected, used, and communicated in a culturally responsive manner. A data team can consist of many different ECE program staff members, including teachers, assistant teachers, paraprofessionals, special education staff, instructional or data use coaches, administrators, data managers, family members or caregivers, community members. Another consideration is the size of the data team. An effective team generally has 5 to 9 members. Research suggests that team productivity and effectiveness diminish when there are more than 9 members. Mueller, 2017. If a team has more than 9 members, consider dividing it into smaller groups of 3 to 5 members. Step 2. Complete the data use checklist. The data use checklist is the first component of the tool. The checklist covers 3 data use elements. 1. Data planning. 2. Data maintenance, use, and communication. 3. Data use monitoring, support, and accountability. The data team can begin with any element in the checklist. The checklist assesses ECE program staff capacity rather than individual capacity. Therefore, a data team should complete the checklist together to assess team capacity. As the team reviews each item, members should discuss whether the team as a whole understands and has the capacity to address the data use requirements. Once the team discusses how individual capacity contributes to overall capacity, the team can negotiate consensus on a proficiency rating. Items under each element are organized by 4 levels of data use proficiency. 1. Foundational items. This level reflect that ECE program staff have estimate knowledge of data use but cannot yet apply it. 2. Applied items at this level demonstrate that ECE program staff have basic knowledge of data use, management, analysis, and decision-making and have begun to apply this knowledge to practice and program improvements. 6. Step-by-step guide for using the tool 3. Established. Items at this level show that ECE program staff have a more established understanding of data use skills and routinely apply that understanding to practice. 4. Exemplary. Items at this level reveal that ECE program staff have different but interactive roles in using data. Items at this level also reflect that staff collaborate to use data to affect children's learning outcomes. To determine data use proficiency, the data team can check the boxes next to each item to record whether program staff currently implement the item. For example, see checked items B and C in Table 3. The tool is designed to be flexible in how items are reviewed. In one approach, the team can review the items from left to right within an element, with the team leader or a designated individual checking off boxes as data use items are implemented with increased proficiency. Alternately, the team can review all items across elements within a given proficiency, for example, foundational, before reviewing items at the next proficiency, for example, applied. The data team's proficiency is determined by the highest level under which all items are checked, tables 3-5. In the first example, Table 3, the team is not yet at the foundational level because item A is not yet checked. In a second example, the team has checked all items at the applied level of data use for an element, but only some items at the established level, indicating the applied level proficiency for the data use element, Table 4. Table 3. Example of a data team not yet at the foundational level for element 2 foundational applied established exemplary 2.8. Data reports ensure that personally identifiable information, such as date of birth or intake assessment score, is protected in accordance with federal and state requirements. 2.b. Staff review the quality, accuracy, and timeliness of the data. 2.c. Staff respond to data requests in a timely manner. 2.d. Data are kept current throughout an assessment period. 2.e. Data are made available to users, teachers, administrators in a timely manner to inform instruction and make site-level decisions. 2.f. Staff incorporate data into family conferences. 2.g. Staff use data to manage programs, professional development, curriculum, district-level policies, resource allocation, and inform decisions about programmatic elements. 2.h. Dissemination of data products includes sufficient information, such as sample size or percentages, to interpret and use the data appropriately. 2.i. Staff use data for individualizing instruction interventions and classroom planning. 2.j. Staff engage in data discussions in which data are used to guide staff professional development. 2.k. Staff demonstrate commitment to using data to identify and address achievement gaps by providing data disaggregated by student subgroups, for example, geographic locality, race, ethnicity, disability type, age, gender, or other criteria through framing of useful questions that inform data-driven decisions. 2.l. Staff create as needed and make available a variety of data products, videos, webinars, or displays, tables, infographics to enhance understanding of the data for a variety of audiences, families, community stakeholders, policymakers, and so on. 2.m. Data team leaders conduct data discussions with all staff to monitor and improve individual student learning, school-wide learning, and teaching practices. 7. Step-by-step guide for using the tool Table 4. Example of a data team at the applied level for element 2 foundational applied established exemplary 2.8. Data reports ensure that personally identifiable information, such as date of birth or intake assessment score, is protected in accordance with federal and state requirements. 2.b. Staff review the quality, accuracy, and timeliness of the data. 2.c. Staff respond to data requests in a timely manner. 2.d. Data are kept current throughout an assessment period. 2.e. Data are made available to users, teachers, administrators in a timely manner to inform instruction and make site-level decisions. 2.f. Staff incorporate data into family conferences. 2.g. Staff use data to manage programs, professional development, curriculum, district-level policies, resource allocation, and inform decisions about programmatic elements. 2.h. Dissemination of data products includes sufficient information, such as sample size or percentages, to interpret and use the data appropriately. 2.i. Staff use data for individualizing instruction interventions and classroom planning. 2.j. Staff engage in data discussions in which data are used to guide staff professional development. 2.k. Staff demonstrate commitment to using data to identify and address achievement gaps by providing data disaggregated by student subgroups, for example, geographic locality, race, ethnicity, disability type, age, gender, or other criteria through framing of useful questions that inform data-driven decisions. 2.l. Staff create as needed and make available a variety of data products, videos, webinars, or displays, tables, infographics to enhance understanding of the data for a variety of audiences, families, community stakeholders, policymakers, and so on. 2.m. Data team leaders conduct data discussions with all staff to monitor and improve individual student learning, school-wide learning, and teaching practices. In a third example, the data team has completed all items on the checklist across all 4 proficiency levels, except for item H at the established level, Table 5. Even though all of the exemplary items at the highest level have been checked, the team's proficiency is still at the applied level because members have not completed item H. In this example, the team needs to focus on dissemination of data products that include sufficient information, such as sample size or percentages, to interpret and use the data appropriately. Once the team identifies the proficiency for one or more elements, members can use the space at the bottom of the table for each element to insert notes for improvement related to that element. The practice examples at the end of Step 2 illustrate different options for prioritizing data use goals. 8. Step-by-step guide for using the tool Table 5. Example of a data team at the applied level for element 2. When all exemplary items are checked, foundational applied establish the exemplary 2.8. Data reports ensure that personally identifiable information, such as date of birth or intake assessment score, is protected in accordance with federal and state requirements. 2.b. Staff review the quality, accuracy, and timeliness of the data. 2.c. Staff respond to data requests in a timely manner. 2.d. Data are kept current throughout an assessment period. 2.e. Data are made available to users, teachers, administrators in a timely manner to inform instruction and make site-level decisions. 2.f. Staff incorporate data into family conferences. 2.g. Staff use data to manage programs, professional development, curriculum, district-level policies, resource allocation, and inform decisions about programmatic elements. 2.h. Dissemination of data products includes sufficient information, such as sample size or percentages, to interpret and use the data appropriately. 2.i. Staff use data for individualizing instruction interventions and classroom planning. 2.j. Staff engage in data discussions in which data are used to guide staff professional development. 2.k. Staff demonstrate commitment to using data to identify and address achievement gaps by providing data disaggregated by student subgroups, for example, geographic locality, race, ethnicity, disability type, age, gender, or other criteria through framing of useful questions that inform data-driven decisions. 2.l. Staff create as needed and make available a variety of data products, videos, webinars, or displays, tables, infographics to enhance understanding of the data for a variety of audiences, families, community stakeholders, policymakers, and so on. 2.m. Data team leaders conduct data discussions with all staff to monitor and improve individual student learning, school-wide learning, and teaching practices. Practice example: as a data team reviews what to prioritize for data use goals, members consider the following questions to guide the discussion. What elements are rated at the foundational level? What elements are feasible to improve? What staff, resources, or funding are available to address the data use element S? What professional development opportunities are available or affordable to address the data use element S? The data team decides to focus on elements rated at the foundational, applied, and established levels to set a data use goal. In other words, elements rated below the exemplary level. In this example, the team rated element 3 at the foundational level. To further develop the data use goal, the team focuses on a single item within the element that team members were not able to check off. Because they were not able to check off item C, staff used data to 9. Step-by-step guide for using the tool track and measure the fidelity and quality of assessments and staff participation in data use trainings. They focus their data use goal on whether the program needs improvement in tracking and measuring fidelity, quality, training, or all components of the item. Practice example: a data team meets only once a month. With limited time and capacity, members decide to complete only one element of the checklist. Element 2, data maintenance, use and communication. The members review each item together, discussing unfamiliar terms and clarifying what the program staff value in terms of using and communicating data, until they have rated the proficiency of their program staff on this element. The data team rated element 2 as not yet at the foundational level for using and communicating data because members can check off only items B and C. For example, see Table 3. The team members are not sure whether they are protecting personally identifiable information in accordance with federal and state requirements in item E, and they identify this item as a priority for developing a data use goal. In the next step, the team will be able to consult several resources in the resource guide to provide definitions and other information. Finally, in step 4, the team will choose as a data use goal the development of a shared understanding of item A. The team demonstrates achievement of this data use goal when the members agree that they have completed all the action steps in their plan. Step 3, consult the resource guide after the data team has prioritized one or more elements or items for improvement on the data use checklist. In step 2, members can find professional development resources aligned with each item in the resource guide. See Appendix B for the complete resource guide. The number of resources available varies by item, and it is up to the team to decide how many of the resources to review. Team members' experience with data may be a good guide in choosing which resources to review for each item. For example, team members new to data use may choose to review all resources associated with an item. Each resource includes a brief description of what users can expect to learn so that the data team understands how the resource aligns with its data use goal. For example, the first resource for element 1, item B, planning, conducting, and documenting data analysis for program improvement, provides information on reviewing and revising the plan for data analysis, outlining findings from analyses, and reporting. If the data use goal that a team identifies in its action plan does not include a focus on this item, the team might decide not to use this resource. The resources are also organized by level of proficiency so that the team can readily find resources that will support improving its current level. Icons facilitate quick identification of the type of resource. As described in the introduction, there are 4 primary types of resources. Table 6. 10. Step-by-step guide for using the tool. Table 6. Resource icons and descriptions. Icon description videos are generally brief recordings that capture practices in action. They can be viewed repeatedly. Many videos in the resource guide are from the Colorado Department of Education's Results Matter video library. Others provide support for each element in the data use checklist. Tools typically contain information on how to use research or evidence-based practice strategies. Tools can include guides or other resources. Team leaders can review tools in printed format and make them available to other team members to support data use goals. Presentations are typically PowerPoint slide decks or posters presented at conferences that contain information or research. The presentation materials can be printed or viewed repeatedly. Practitioner briefs and scholarly articles vary in length and most often report on research or evidence supporting elements of data use. They can be downloaded and studied to support data use. Practice example: after completing the checklist, a data team identified the need to develop foundational knowledge for element 2, data maintenance, use, and communication. The team does not have a shared understanding of the federal and state requirements related to Item 2.8. Data reports ensure that personally identifiable information, such as date of birth or intake assessment score, is protected in accordance with federal and state requirements, and has developed a data use goal to understand these requirements. Personally identifiable information includes data that could be used to identify an individual. An early childhood program might collect such personally identifiable information as children's or parents' full names, social security numbers, bank account numbers, and email addresses. The team consults the resource guide for more information. They find 3 resources aligned with Item 2.8. They review the descriptions and decide that the third resource, frequently asked questions, FAQ, related to data under the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, is the best place to start because the team is familiar with early intervention data referenced in the resource. Practice example: after completing the checklist and checking off almost every item, a data team found that it was still not consistently having staff incorporate data into family conferences, Item 2.f. The team wants to develop this data use skill and consults the resource guide for more information. They find 4 resources aligned with Item 2.f. They review the descriptions and decide that the first resource, a video, and the third resource, a presentation, would be most helpful to incorporate into an upcoming coaching session for staff. 11. Step-by-step guide for using the tool. Step 4. Complete the action plan after using the data use checklist, Appendix A, to identify and prioritize one or more elements for improvement, and consulting the resource guide, Appendix B, to find relevant resources. The data team can write 1 or more action steps to help team members develop and achieve their data use goals. See Appendix 100 for the action plan template. The practice example below describes how to complete an action plan. Practice example: after data team members have met to complete the checklist, rate their proficiency, and consult the resource guide together, the members are ready to write action steps and develop and achieve their data use goals. Box 1 and Table 7 present the team's completed action plan. In this example, the administrator recorded the team's decision to focus on Element 2 as its data use goal, Box 1. The team enlisted the help of the program's instructional coach. Point 3. Together, they worked to attain the data use goal, to develop action steps, and to continuously review the team's progress toward the goal, Table 7. Once the initial benchmarks were reached, the administrator took the lead to develop a continued data team assessment plan, establish the frequency for using the tool, and set new data use goals. The administrator in this example serves as the goal reviewer, monitoring progress toward the data use goal and updating the goal as necessary. More details on the stages the team went through to complete its action plan are in Box 1 and Table 7. Information on creating SMART goals is described more fully in Table 8.43. The instructional coach is listed in the template as optional because not all early childhood education programs have access to an instructional coach. However, if an instructional coach is available, the coach should be included in the action plan to support the data team. 4. SMART goals are those that are specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and relevant, and timely. Doran, 1982. 12. Step-by-step guide for using the Toolbox. 1. Example of completed data use goal and an action plan date. August 1st, 20 data team members, Andy, administrator, Kelly, coordinator, Tracy, teacher, goal reviewer, Andy, instructional coach, optional, Jeff, element S and item S, element 2, data maintenance, use, and communication. Item I, staff use data for individualizing instruction interventions and classroom planning. Data use goal, written as SMART goal. After building capacity, the classroom teacher will use data to individualize instruction when planning monthly goals for each student. By the second semester, the teacher will submit monthly goals to the administrator that are linked to data. During the first month, the team will use the resources to build capacity with assistance from the coach, benchmarks 1 and 2. During the second month, the administrator and the teacher will work together to link goals with data, using a template modeled on another program, benchmark 3. During the third month, the administrator will review the monthly goals with the teacher, benchmark 4. Starting in the fourth month, the teacher will be able to write the monthly goals on his or her own, benchmark 5. Following benchmark 5, the team will convene, update the checklist, and choose the next goal, 13. Step-by-step guide for using the tool table 7. Example of action steps completed on an action plan. Action steps supporting resources responsible party timeline for completion measurement accountability challenges. What activities will we engage in to reach our data use goals? What resources can we use? Who will be involved in achieving this action step? Who will monitor progress? How long will it take to complete this action step? How will we know we have completed this action step? What challenges do we anticipate or have we encountered in achieving this action step? 1. Review the resources for element 2, item I in the resource guide. Consult resources 1-4 in the resource guide. Tracy, teacher, Kelly, coordinator, Andy, administrator. Monitor progress. Jeff, coach, September 30th, 20. Jeff facilitated a discussion of resources 1-4, benchmarks 1 and 2. Kelly, coordinator, will be on leave for surgery for 1 week in September. 2. Attend the data discussion at the Early Learning Center. Partner with the data and instruction team at the Early Learning Center. Tracy, teacher, Kelly, coordinator, Andy, administrator. Monitor progress. October 31st, 20. The team met after the data discussion and talked about what members had learned about creating a template for the monthly goals that references data. Andy and Tracy worked together to share the template with the program, benchmark 3. A new student will join the program on November 1st. We will need to create a separate plan for collecting assessment data and develop individual learning goals for the student. 3. Create data-driven monthly goals with support. Review and update the template. Tracy, teacher, Andy, administrator. Monitor progress. Jeff, coach, November 30th, 20. Andy reviewed the goals with Tracy and provided feedback. Benchmark 4. None 4. Create data-driven monthly goals independently. Reviewed previous month's goals from the template. Tracy, teacher, Kelly, coordinator, December 31st, 20. Kelly reviewed the goals and provided feedback to the team. Benchmark 5. None 5. 14. Step-by-step guide for using the tool. Practice example 1. A data team records the element number and item letter if more than one item is unchecked under the level for the data use goal. For example, the team might determine a need to focus on element 2, data maintenance, use, and communication, and the unchecked item I. Staff use data for individualizing instruction interventions and classroom planning. The team inserts 2 and I in the action plan template, see box 1. 2. The data team writes a data use goal to develop data use skills as the SMART goal for the plan, Doran, 1981. Table 8. SMART goals are those that are specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and relevant, and timely. The SMART goal method helps the team set smaller goals along the way to meet larger, long-term goals. The SMART goals make achieving larger goals more attainable. Additionally, SMART goals are specific and provide a realistic and timely plan for what the team needs to do and how it needs to measure achievement of the goals. The example in Table 8 illustrates how the team might use the SMART goal method for developing a data use goal and completing an action plan such as the one in Box 1. The team demonstrates achieving a shared understanding when members agree that they have completed the action step S in the plan. Table 8. SMART goals and sample action plan goals. SMART goal element user scaffold example specific. What exactly do I want to happen? The classroom teacher will use data to individualize instruction when planning monthly goals for each student specific. By the second semester, the teacher will submit monthly goals to the administrator that are linked to data, measurable and timely. During the first month, the administrator and the teacher will work together to link goals with data. During the second month, the administrator will review the monthly goals with the teacher. Starting in the third month, the teacher will be able to write the monthly goals on his or her own, attainable, realistic, and relevant. Measurable, I will know I have reached my goal when. Attainable with resources and action, is it possible to reach this goal by the deadline? Realistic and relevant, my goal is important enough for me to put the plan into action. I will follow this specific plan to reach my goal. Timely, I will reach this goal by 3. A data team identifies one or more action steps that will help members develop data use skills for accomplishing data use goals. The first action step that the team identifies is to consult the resource guide, Appendix B, to identify resources to develop data use skills. Team members review the resources in the guide that are connected to Element 2, Item I, which they have prioritized from the data use checklist. They choose 4 of the 5 resources related to this item for further review. They plan for each member of the team to read the resources and then have their instructional coach facilitate a discussion of how each resource relates to their program. The team also identifies another action step, attending a data discussion at another ECE program that has already achieved the data use goal. 4. Data team members are assigned to complete each action step and achieve the benchmarks with a team member charged with monitoring progress. It may not be necessary, practical, or helpful for every team member to complete every action step. 15. Step-by-step guide for using the tool 5. The data team sets the target completion date for each action step. It is important for the team to set realistic completion dates that will allow team members to hold one another accountable so that the data use goals remain a priority. Team members consider how much planning time staff might have to work on data use goals or how often staff meetings could be used to address data use goals. 6. The data team determines how to measure progress and what benchmarks will be completed. In this example, the initial benchmark 1 is to share a key takeaway from the resources in action step 1. The benchmark is applying the tool resource to existing data use practices. The instructional coach determines whether each of the benchmarks has been achieved or whether more work is needed. One consideration might be whether the team is at the foundational or applied level and whether team members are unsure about how to improve data use. This would be a good opportunity for extended discussion with their instructional coach on how to set benchmarks and measure progress to support continuous improvement. Additionally, team members who are more experienced in data use can also provide feedback on setting benchmarks and measuring progress. 7. The data team identifies and records anticipated challenges. They identify any potential obstacles to achieving the data use goal. In this example, the team considers other requirements for program staff that might be making the goal harder to achieve. They also identify anything unexpected that might interfere with attaining data use goals. In this example, the team notes the extended leave of a critical staff member as well as the addition of a new student with no existing data to a class, making it difficult to write a data-driven goal for that student. 16. References Colorado Department of Education, N.D. Administrative Data Use Self-Assessment, retrieved December 21st, 2020 from https://www.cde.state.co.us/results/matter/8bmistrativedatalf assessment. Colorado Department of Education, 2016. The results matter system. Retrieved August 24, 2020 from http://www.cde.state.co.us/results/matter/rm_system. Doran, G. T. 1981. There's S. M.A. R.T. Way to write management's goals and objectives. Management Review, 7011, 3536. Macy, M. Bagnato, S. J. and Gallen, R. 2016. Authentic Assessment, a venerable idea whose time is now. 0 to 3, 37-1, 3743. https://eric.ed.gov/question=EJ11237767. Mueller, J. S. 2012. Why individuals and larger teams perform worse. Organizational behavior and human decision processes. 117.1, 111.124. https://doip.org/1016/j.obhp.2011.08.004. Ref 1. Appendix A Data Use Checklist. Click on an item to jump to aligned resources in Appendix B. Element 1. Data Use Planning Foundational Applied Established Exemplary 1.A. Staff know what data are available, the purpose for collecting the data, how to collect the data, how the data will be used, and when to discard the data. 1.B. Staff reviewed and revised plans together for data analysis, product development, and dissemination. 1.C. Plans for data use and consistent reporting mechanisms across schools, centers, and programs are matched to the intended audience, school board, funder, parents, policymakers, community, and so on. 1.D. Plans are in place to use data to inform decisions about accountability and program needs, such as changes to instructional strategies, learning environment, teacher assignment, or professional development. 1.E. Staff plan for use of multiple data sources to inform decisions. 1.F. Data collection, use, and analysis questions are planned through a mutual process of engaging program staff, families, and community partners. 1.G. Formal written policies are in place regarding the collection, storage, dissemination, and use of data. Improvement Goals, A1. Appendix 8 Data Use Checklist Element 2. Data Maintenance, Use, and Communication Foundational Applied Established Exemplary 2.A. Data reports ensure that personally identifiable information, such as date of birth or intake assessment score, is protected in accordance with federal and state requirements. 2.B. Staff review the quality, accuracy, and timeliness of the data. 2.C. Staff respond to data requests in a timely manner. 2.D. Data are kept current throughout an assessment period. 2.E. Data are made available to users, teachers, administrators in a timely manner to inform instruction and make site-level decisions. 2.F. Staff incorporate data into family conferences. 2.G. Staff use data to manage programs, professional development, curriculum, district-level policies, resource allocation, and inform decisions about programmatic elements. 2.H. Dissemination of data products includes sufficient information, such as sample size or percentages, to interpret and use the data appropriately. 2.I. Staff use data for individualizing instruction interventions and classroom planning. 2.J. Staff engage in data discussions in which data are used to guide staff professional development. 2.K. Staff demonstrate commitment to using data to identify and address achievement gaps by providing data disaggregated by student subgroups, for example, geographic locality, race, ethnicity, disability type, age, gender, or other criteria through framing of useful questions that inform data-driven decisions. 2.L. Staff create as needed and make available a variety of data products, videos, webinars, or displays, tables, infographics to enhance understanding of the data for a variety of audiences, families, community stakeholders, policymakers, and so on. 2.M. Data team leaders conduct data discussions with all staff to monitor and improve individual student learning, school-wide learning, and teaching practices. Improvement goals. A2. Appendix A Data Use Checklist Element 3. Data Use Monitoring, Support, and Accountability Foundational Applied Established Exemplary 3.A. Staff ensure completion of student assessments and correct incomplete assessments in a timely manner. 3.B. Teaching staff receive adequate support, materials, and training from leadership, administrators, and principals to use data. 3.C. Staff use data to track and measure the fidelity and quality of assessments and staff participation in data use trainings. 3.D. Staff have established processes, routines for entering documentation in the online or ongoing assessment tool. 3.E. Staff participate in professional development that supports users' skills and competencies to understand, interpret, and use data effectively. 3.F. Multiple resources and tools, for example, help desk, analytic and querying tools, web portal are available for a variety of data users to facilitate access to data and to support data use. 3.G. On a regular basis, staff have dedicated, structured time for collaborative review and data use planning. 3.H. Staff have documented data specifications, for example, data elements, restrictions related to data elements, querying parameters, report criteria to answer specific questions, and documentation is updated as needed. 3.I. Staff hold data discussions across classes grades to support children's transitions. 3.J. Staff hold organizational members accountable for making data-informed decisions and for the results of those decisions. Improvement goals. A3. Appendix A Data Use Checklist Sources The Decide Center, 2014. Subcomponent, Data Use, DU, in Decide Data Systems Framework, PUP, 3538, SRI International. Retrieved May 22nd, 2020 from https://decidecenter.org/resources/DOSY framework data use. Hamilton, L. Halverson, R. Jackson, S. Mandinock, E. Supovitz, J. and Wayman, J. 2009. Using student achievement data to support instructional decision-making, NCEE No. 2009-4067. U.S. Department of Education, Institute of Education Sciences, National Center for Education Evolution and Regional Assistance. https://eric.ed.gov/question=ET506645. National Center on Parent, Family, and Community Engagement. 2020. Measuring What Matters, Using Data to Support Family Progress, Overview, Revised. U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Administration for Children and Families, Office of Head Start. https://eclkc.os.acf.hhs. Governor cites default files PDF measuring what matters using data overview a.pdf. National Center on Program Management and Fiscal Operations. 2013. What is quality data for programs serving infants and toddlers? U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Administration for Children and Families, Office of Head Start. Retrieved May 22nd, 2020 from https://eclkc os.acf.hhs.gov/publication/what-quality-data-programs-serving-infants-toddlers. Strategic Data Project 2014 Strategic Use of Data Rubric Harvard University Center for Education Policy Research. Retrieved May 22nd, 2020 from https://sdp.cepr.harvard.edu/strategic use data rubric. University of Massachusetts Donahue Institute and Department of Health and Human Services Administration for Children and Families. 2007. Setting the stage for data analysis, assessing program strengths and risks. http://www.donahue.umassp.edu/setting-stage-data-analysis-strength-week.pdf. A4. Appendix B Resource Guide Element 1. Data Use Planning Type Resource 1.8. Staff know what data are available, the purpose for collecting the data, how to collect the data, how the data will be used, and when to discard the data. Description and purpose level Colorado Department of Education. N.D. Blake Story Video. http://www.d.state.co.us/results-matter/Blake Story-player. In this video, an early intervention staff member goes to the grocery store with Blake and his mom to collect information on their normal routine and then uses ideas from that information to make the grocery trip better. This resource can be used to help early intervention staff understand the importance of collecting authentic assessment information and providing individualized instruction to help identify children meet goals. Foundational Colorado Department of Education. 2013, Using Technology to Enhance Instruction and Family Engagement video. http://www.cdE.state.co.us/results-matter-USINGTECHNOLOGYTOENHANCEINSTRUCTION-player. 1.b. Staff reviewed and revised plans together for data analysis, product development, and dissemination. This video shows how teachers can use technology to improve instruction and engage families. Tablets or interactive whiteboards can be used to engage students during instruction and document student learning and progress. Data might include recorded videos that can be shared with children and families. There are also online message boards for parents as well as teachers to stay connected and share data. Foundational Early Childhood Learning and Knowledge Center. 2018. Learning from Assessment LFA Toolkit. Retrieved January 23, 2019 from https://eclkc.os. acf.hhs.gov/child-screening-assessment/LFA-toolkit/welcome learning assessment LFA toolkit. This toolkit is a collection of presentations, handouts, guided practice exercises, and descriptions of additional resources designed to support program staff in enhancing, conducting, and interpreting child assessment data. Foundational The Center for Early Childhood Data Systems and the Early Childhood Technical Assistance Center. 2015. Planning, conducting, and documenting data analysis for program improvement. SRI International. Retrieved from https://docisi-center.sri.com/downloads/docisi_papers/doci_ssip_data analysis planning_20150323_final_acc.pdf. This tool helps with reviewing and revising the plan for data analyses, outlining findings from analyses, and reporting. Applied Schachner, A. Vin, M. and Cox, M. 2017. Data-Informed Decision Makers. How to Use Data for Decision-Making, PowerPoint Slides. The Center for Early Childhood Data Systems. Retrieved January 23, 2019 from https://dacenter.org/data-informed-decision-makers-how-to-use-data-for decision making. This presentation engages the listener in thinking about how to make instructional and systemic adjustments that are informed by data, even when constraints make this process difficult. Applied the National Center on Program Management and Fiscal Operations. N.D. Data and Head Start and Early Head Start. Tips for embracing data. U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Administration for Children and Families, Office of Head Start. https://eclkc.os.acf.hhs.gov/sites/default/files PDF tipsheet.pdf. This resource provides tips for accounting for data, including providing understanding of data, implementing a welcoming approach for discussing data, establishing guidance for data use and management, and evaluating the data use process to make improvements. Applied Early Childhood Learning and Knowledge Center. 2020. Ongoing Child Assessment, a Guide for Program Leaders. Retrieved January 23, 2019 from https://eclkc.os.acf.hhs.gov/child-screening-assessment/article/ongoing child assessment guide program leaders. This guide provides information to help program leaders prepare, collect, aggregate and analyze, and use and share data. Program leaders can review case stories that demonstrate how education staff and program leaders use ongoing child assessment, discover definitions of terms, a planning worksheet, and a list of print and online resources in the appendixes, and find specific information about assessing children who are dual language learners and children with disabilities. B1. Appendix B Resource Guide Type Resource 1.c. Plans for data use and consistent reporting mechanisms across schools, centers, and programs are matched to the intended audience, school board, funder, parents, policymakers, community, and so on. Description and Purpose Level Colorado Department of Education. 2009. Authentic Assessment and Early Intervention Video. http://www.cdE.state.co.us/results matter/AUTHENTICISSSMENTIINTINTIO This video shows how authentic assessment, including observation of the child and conversations with the family, allows the assessor to learn what goes on in the day-to-day life of the child and how to use the information to think of interventions that best fit the child. It is also helpful to use video data when reviewing the child's progress with the family. Established SEDL. 2016, September 1st. Data Use Early Education Video. YouTube. https://www.youtube.com/watchquestionv=JSQVQI4NS. This video shows 9 standards for data use in early childhood education, including ways in which preschool and K-3 teachers can collaborate on routines. Established Belodoff K. Gundler D. Nicholas A. and Wise E. 2016. Demystifying the D word. Making data meaningful for families, PowerPoint slides. The Center for Idea Early Childhood Data Systems. Retrieved January 23, 2019 from https://demystifying-the-d-word-making-data-meaningful for families. This presentation shares how to make data accessible and purposeful for families with children in early childhood education. Established American Association of School Administrators. N.D. Using data to improve schools. What's working? http://aasa.org/uploaded files/policy_and_advocacy files using data to improve schools.pdf. 1.d. Plans are in place to use data to inform decisions about accountability and program needs, such as changes to instructional strategies, learning environment, teacher assignment, or professional development. 1.e. Staff plan for use of multiple data sources to inform decisions. This guide provides district and school leaders, school board members, parents, and community members ways to effectively use data for school improvement. Colorado Department of Education, 2016. Using child assessment data to achieve positive outcomes video. http://www.cde.state.co.us/results matter USINGCHILDSSSMENTDATHIVEPOSITIVEOUTCOMES player. This video shows how staff can use data for many program elements, such as making improvements to instruction, establishing additional supports teachers need in the classroom, and communicating program effectiveness to potential private funders. This guide provides 5 recommendations on how student achievement data can be used for instructional improvement and for how students can use their own data to set personal learning goals. For this to be successful, a clear understanding is needed of the way data are used and supported school-wide and district-wide. Established Colorado Department of Education, 2009. Linking documentation and curriculum video. http://www.cde.state.co.us/results matter /linkingdocumentation player. This video shows how to observe and document classroom data to see what interests and challenges the children and to use the data to plan future curriculum. Hamilton, L. Halverson, R. Jackson, S. Mandinock, E. Supovitz, J. and Wayman, J. 2009. Using student achievement data to support instructional decision-making, NCE 2009-4067. U.S. Department of Education, Institute of Education Sciences, National Center for Education Evaluation and Regional Assistance. https://ies.gov/nce/wwc/docs/practice guide/DTBM_PG_092909.pdf. The Established Colorado Department of Education, 2015. The benefits of using authentic assessment in a childcare program video. http://www.cde.state.co.us/results matter THEBENEFITSOFUSINGAUTHCSSMENTIACENTICIASESSENTIACESSENTIACENTICIAN player. This video shows how authentic assessment allows teaching staff to collect authentic data, observation, anecdote, work samples over multiple time points instead of during a limited assessment. Established Colorado Department of Education, 2009. Linking documentation and curriculum video. http://www.cde.state.co.us/results matter /linkingdocumentation player. This video shows how to observe and document classroom data to see what interests and challenges the children and to use the data to plan future curriculum. Established Colorado Department of Education, 2009. The essential role of observation and documentation video. http://www.cde.state.co.us/results matter /THESSENTIALROLEOFOBSERVATIONANTDOCUMENDATIO player. This video exemplifies the importance of observing and documenting what children are learning and how to use the data to build activities that are individualized to children's needs and wants. B2. Appendix B Resource Guide Type Resource Description and Purpose Level Hamilton, L. Halverson, R. Jackson, S. Mandinock, E. Supovitz, J. and Wayman, J. 2009. Using student achievement data to support instructional decision-making, NCE 2009-4067. U.S. Department of Education, Institute of Education Sciences, National Center for Education Evaluation and Regional Assistance. https://ies.gov/nce/wwc/docs/practice guide/DDBM_PG_092909.pdf. 1.f. Data collection, use, and analysis questions are planned through a mutual process of engaging program staff, families, and community partners. This guide provides 5 recommendations on how student achievement data can be used for instructional improvement and for how students can use their own data to set personal learning goals. For this to be successful, a clear understanding is needed of the way data are used and supported school-wide and district-wide. The established Colorado Department of Education, 2014. Aiden's Parent-Teacher Conference video. http://www.cde.state.co.us/results-matter/AIDENSPARENTEACHERCONFERENCE This video shows an example of a parent-teacher conference during which the teacher provides data to the parents and gathers data from the parents. The parents and teachers then use the data to discuss additional supports that the student needs at home from the perspective of both the parents and the teacher. Exemplary Colorado Department of Education, 2014. Preschool home visits, making the time to build relationships, video. http://www.cde.state.co.us/results-matter/PRESCHOLHONEVISITSMAKINGITIOBUILDREALITIONESHIPIS This video shows how visiting a preschool student's home allows the teacher to gather data about the family and their culture. These data strengthen the working relationship between the teacher and family. Exemplary means B. Padilla, C. and Gallagher, L. 2010. Use of education data at the local level, from accountability to instructional improvement. U.S. Department of Education, Office of Planning, Evaluation and Policy Development. https://www.ed.gov/rsched/eval/tech/use-of-education-data use-of-education-data.pdf. 1.g. Formal written policies are in place regarding the collection, storage, dissemination, and use of data. This report discusses the ways that districts around the nation encourage and strengthen district-wide use of data and the barriers to doing so. Nelson, R. Kelly, G. Hebler, K. Vin, M. Gillespie, K. Barton, L. and Reed, J. K. 2017. Local Child Outcomes Measurement System, LCOMS. Early Childhood Technical Assistance Center, http://ectacenter.org/eco/assets/pdfs l-coms_framework.pdf. This framework describes the fundamentals of a child outcomes measurement system, including having a clear purpose for the system, collecting, analyzing, reporting, and using data, evaluating the system and making improvements, and coordinating across early childhood education systems. Exemplary Mozzie, D. Davis, R. Arzamendia, K. and Sellers, J. 2017. Who's in charge of mob data? Protecting data with effective data governance, PowerPoint slides. The Center for IDEA Early Childhood Data Systems. Retrieved January 23, 2019 from https://decicenter.org/whos-in-charge-of-my-data-protecting data with effective data governance. Wayman, J. C. and Cho v. 2008, Preparing Educators to Effectively Use Student Data Systems, in T. J. Kowalski and T. J. Lastly, the second eds. Handbook on Database Decision Making in Education, pp. 89-104. Routledge, http://wayman-datause.com/wp-content/uploads/2013/11/wayman_and_show.pdf. This resource provides guidance for establishing a data governance structure that reinforces how education data are protected. Exemplary. This document explains the challenges that districts encounter when using data systems, and it describes how districts can equip teachers with the knowledge and tools to use the systems. Exemplary. Mozzie D. Davis R. Arzamendia K. and Sellers J. 2017. Who's in charge of my data? Protecting data with effective data governance. PowerPoint slides. The Center for Idea Early Childhood Data Systems. Retrieved January 23, 2019 from https://whos-in-charge-of-my-data-effective-data-governance/. This resource provides guidance for establishing a data governance structure that reinforces how education data are protected. U.S. Department of Education, 2016. Understanding the confidentiality requirements applicable to Idea Early Childhood programs. Frequently asked questions, FAQs, https://student-privacy.ed.gov/sites/default/files/resource_document file idea-confidentiality-requirements-FAQ_0.pdf. This document provides early childhood programs with the privacy and confidentiality requirements set by the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, 2015. Exemplary B3. Appendix B Resource Guide Element 2. Data Maintenance, Use, and Communication Type Resource 2.8. Data reports ensure that personally identifiable information, such as date of birth or intake assessment score, is protected in accordance with federal and state requirements. Description and Purpose Level REL Northeast and Islands, 2015, August 24th. Data Collection and Use, an Early Childhood Perspective video. YouTube, https://www.youtube.com/watch v=p6ful_knlc. Nelson R. Kelly G. Habler K. Vin M. Gillespie K. Barton L. and Reed J. K. 2017. Local Child Outcomes Measurement System, LCOMS. Early Childhood Technical Assistance Center. http://ecenter.org/eco/assets/pdfs l-coms_framework.pdf. This webinar shares how preschool programs are collecting, using, and sharing early childhood education data. This framework describes the fundamentals of a child outcomes measurement system, including having a clear purpose for the system, collecting, analyzing, reporting, and using data, evaluating the system and making improvements, and coordinating across early childhood education systems. Foundational U.S. Department of Education, 2016. Understanding the confidentiality requirements applicable to Idea Early Childhood programs. Frequently asked questions, FAQs, https://student-privacy.ed.gov/sites/default/files/resource_document file idea-confidentiality-requirements-FAQ_0.pdf. Colorado Department of Education, 2009. Using video to celebrate progress video. http://www.cde.state.co.us/results matter/USINGVIDOTOCLEBRESS player. This document provides early childhood programs with the privacy and confidentiality requirements set by the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, 2015. Foundational 2.b. Staff reviewed the quality, accuracy, and timeliness of the data. This video shows how early intervention providers can share video data with families so that they can see how their children are progressing. Foundational Early Childhood Learning and Knowledge Center, 2020. Data in Head Start and Early Head Start. Digging into data. Retrieved January 23, 2019 from https://eclks.os.acf.hhs.gov/program-planning/article/data-head-start Early Head Start Digging Data. This participatory training module involves 6 activities that develop skills for using data in Head Start and Early Head Start, selecting the right data, steering clear of data collection problems, changing one's view, drawing conclusions, taking action, and sharing data. Foundational The Center for Early Childhood Data Systems, 2017. Using your state's data to develop and answer critical questions, PowerPoint slides. Retrieved January 23, 2019 from https://using-your-states-data-to develop-and-answer-critical-questions/ This presentation shares how to use State Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, 2015 data to answer questions that are important to one's work about children, students, families, personnel, and programs. Foundational The National Center on Program Management and Fiscal Operations. N.D. Data in Head Start and Early Head Start. Tips for Embracing Data. U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Administration for Children and Families, Office of Head Start. https://eclks.os.acf.hhs.gov/sites/default/files PDF tip sheet.pdf. This resource provides tips for accounting for data, including providing understanding of data, implementing a welcoming approach for discussing data, establishing guidance for data use and management, and evaluating the data use process to make improvements. Foundational The Center for Early Childhood Data Systems, 2017. What are data teams? Infographic. Retrieved January 23, 2019 from https://decicenter.org. Data-culture-toolkit/teaming-for-data-use/what-are-data-teams/ 2.c. Staff respond to data requests in a timely manner. This infographic presents the definition of a data team, the purpose data teams serve, how to effectively include team members' varied perspectives, and the idea that no 2 data teams will have the same goals or function the same. Foundational Colorado Department of Education, 2016. Using child assessment data to achieve positive outcomes video. http://www.cde.state.co.us/results matter/USINGCHILDSSSMENTDOTACHIVEPOSITIVEOUTCOMES player. This video shows how staff can use data for many program elements, such as making improvements to instruction, establishing additional supports teachers need in the classroom, and communicating program effectiveness to potential private funders. Foundational B4. Appendix B Resource Guide Type Resource SEDL. 2016, September 1st. Data Use Early Education Video. YouTube. https://www.youtube.com/watch_v=JSQVQ Ike 4NS. Belodoff K. Gundler D. Nicholas A. and Wise, E. 2016. Demystifying the D word. Making data meaningful for families, PowerPoint slides. The Center for Early Childhood Data Systems. Retrieved January 23, 2019 from https://demystifying-the-d-word-making-data-meaningful for families. American Association of School Administrators. N.D. Using data to improve schools. What's working? http://aasa.org/uploaded files/policy_and_advocacy files using data to improve schools.pdf. 2.d. Data are kept current throughout an assessment period. Means B. Padilla, C. and Gallagher, L. 2010. Use of education data at the local level, from accountability to instructional improvement. U.S. Department of Education, Office of Planning, Evaluation and Policy Development. https://www.ed.gov/rschat/eval/tech/use-education-data use of education data.pdf. 2.e. Data are made available to users, teachers, administrators in a timely manner to inform instruction and make site-level decisions. Description and purpose. This video shows 9 standards for data use in early childhood education, including ways in which preschool and K-3 teachers can collaborate on routines. This guide provides district and school leaders, school board members, parents, and community members ways to effectively use data for school improvement. Level foundational. This presentation shares how to make data accessible and purposeful for families with children in early childhood education. Foundational Colorado Department of Education. 2009. Using video to celebrate progress. Video. http://www.cde.state.co.us/results-matter/USINGVIDOTOCLEBRATEPROGRESS player. This video shows how early intervention providers can share video data with families so that they can see how their children are progressing. Applied Colorado Department of Education. 2011. Using the iPod Touch and Dragon dictation to record observation notes. Video. http://www.cdE.state.co.us/results-matter-USINGIPODTOUCHNDDRAGONDICTIONDICTORICORDSCITIATIONDICTIONDICTIONS player. This video introduces Dragon Dictations, a free application on the iPod Touch for documenting notes through voice. Teachers can record classroom observation data and the application will then transcribe the data. The notes can then be reviewed to monitor student progress. Applied Nelson, R. Kelly, G. Hebler, K. Vin, M. Gillespie, K. Barton, L. and Reed, J. K. 2017. Local Child Outcomes Measurement System, LCOMS. Early Childhood Technical Assistance Center. http://ectcenter.org/eco/assets/pdfs L-COMS_framework.pdf. This framework describes the fundamentals of a child outcomes measurement system, including having a clear purpose for the system, collecting, analyzing, reporting, and using data, evaluating the system and making improvements, and coordinating across early childhood education systems. This report discusses the ways that districts around the nation encourage and strengthen district-wide use of data and the barriers to doing so. Applied Colorado Department of Education. 2009. Using documentation to become a better teacher, video. http://www.cde.state.co.us/results matter/USINGDOCUMENTATIONTOBECONEABETTERTACHER player. This video shows how using video documentation in the classroom allows teachers to track student progress, review student strengths and areas for improvement, and plan teaching activities. Applied Colorado Department of Education. 2009. The essential role of observation and documentation, video. http://www.cde.state.co.us/results matter/THESSENTIALROLEOFOBSERVATIONANTDOCUMENTATION player. This video exemplifies the importance of observing and documenting what children are learning and how to use those data to build activities that are individualized to children's needs and wants. Applied means B. Padilla, C. and Gallagher, L. 2010. Use of education data at the local level, from accountability to instructional improvement. U.S. Department of Education, Office of Planning, Evaluation and Policy Development. https://www.ed.gov/rseht/eval/tech/use-a-education-data use of education data.pdf. This report discusses the ways that districts around the nation encourage and strengthen district-wide use of data and the barriers to doing so. B5. Appendix B Resource Guide Type Resource 2.f. Staff incorporate data into family conferences. Belodoff, K. Gundler, D. Nicholas, A. and Wise, E. 2016. Demystifying the D word. Making data meaningful for families. PowerPoint slides. The Center for Idea Early Childhood Data Systems. Retrieved January 23, 2019 from https://decipher.org/demystifying-the-d-word-making-data-meaningful for families. 2.g. Staff use data to manage programs, professional development, curriculum, district-level policies, resource allocation, and inform decisions about programmatic elements. Description and purpose. This framework describes the fundamentals of a child outcomes measurement system, including having a clear purpose for the system, collecting, analyzing, reporting, and using data, evaluating the system and making improvements, and coordinating across early childhood education systems. Level Colorado Department of Education. 2014. Engaging families with video at parent-teacher conferences, video. http://www.cde.state.co.us/results matter/engagingifamilistwittingvideoatparentteacherconferences player. This video shows how a parent-teacher conference can be enriched by sharing data exemplifying student learning and progress. This helps to facilitate conversations about what the teacher can do in the classroom and what the parent can do at home to better help the student succeed. Applied Nelson, R. Kelly, G. Habler, K. Vin, M. Gillespie, K. Barton, L. and Reed, J. K. 2017. Local Child Outcomes Measurement System, LCOMS. Early Childhood Technical Assistance Center. http://ectcenter.org/eco/assets/pdfs l-coms_framework.pdf. Applied. This presentation shares how to make data accessible and purposeful for families with children in early childhood education. Applied American Association of School Administrators, N.D. Using data to improve schools. What's working? http://aasa.org/uploaded files/policy_and_advocacy files using data to improve schools.pdf. This guide provides district and school leaders, school board members, parents, and community members ways to effectively use data for school improvement. Colorado Department of Education, 2016. Using child assessment data to achieve positive outcomes, video. http://www.cde.state.co.us/results matter USINGCHILDSSSMENTDATHIVEPOSITIVEOUDCOMES player. This video shows how staff can use data for many program elements, such as making improvements to instruction, establishing additional supports teachers need in the classroom, and communicating program effectiveness to potential private funders. Applied Nelson, R. Kelly, G. Hebler, K. Vin, M. Gillespie, K. Barton, L. and Reed, J. K. 2017. Local Child Outcomes Measurement System, LCOMS. Early Childhood Technical Assistance Center, http://ectacenter.org/eco/assets/pdfs L-COMS_framework.pdf. This framework describes the fundamentals of a child outcomes measurement system, including having a clear purpose for the system, collecting, analyzing, reporting, and using data, evaluating the system and making improvements, and coordinating across early childhood education systems. Mosby, D. Davis, R. Arzamendia, K. and Sellers, J. 2017. Who's in charge of mob data? Protecting data with effective data governance, PowerPoint slides. The Center for Idea Early Childhood Data Systems. Retrieved January 23, 2019 from https://whos-in-charge-of-my-data-protecting data with effective data governance. This resource provides guidance for establishing a data governance structure that reinforces how education data are protected. Applied means B. Padilla, C. and Gallagher, L. 2010. Use of education data at the local level, from accountability to instructional improvement. U.S. Department of Education, Office of Planning, Evaluation and Policy Development. https://www.ed.gov/rschstat/eval/tech/use-of-education-data use-of-education-data.pdf. This report discusses the ways that districts around the nation encourage and strengthen district-wide use of data and the barriers to doing so. B6. Appendix B Resource Guide Type Resource Description and Purpose Level 2.h. Dissemination of data products includes sufficient information, such as sample size or percentages, to interpret and use the data appropriately. Edutopia, 2015, April 7th. Demystifying Student Data for Parents. Retrieved January 23, 2019 from https://www.edutopia.org/practice/sharing-data. Create stronger parent partnerships. This resource provides tips for sharing data with parents through data folders, parent-teacher conferences, and a possible night dedicated to parents and teachers sharing data on student progress. Established Gould, T. Nicholas, A. Ruggiero, T. Blandford, W. Thayer, S. and Bull, B. 2015. Types of data systems. The Center for Idea Early Childhood Data Systems. https://desigcenter.sri.com/downloads/design_papers/dsl_brief_data_systems_final_data_20150122_acc.pdf. This resource describes the purposes of 4 types of data systems frequently used for Part 100, Early Intervention Services for Infants and Toddlers with Disabilities, and Part B 619, Special Education Services for School-Age Children with Disabilities programs. Established U.S. Department of Education, 2005. Information Quality Guidelines. Retrieved January 23, 2019 from https://www.ed.gov/policy/gen/ic_4.html. This resource contains guidance on high-quality data and explains how to determine the quality of data. Established 2.I. Staff use data for individualizing instruction, interventions, and classroom planning. Colorado Department of Education, 2009. Using documentation to become a better teacher video. http://www.cdE.state.co.us/results matter/USINGDOCUMENTATIONTEBETTER player. This video shows how using video documentation in the classroom allows teachers to track student progress, review student strengths and areas for improvement, and plan teaching activities. Established Institute of Education Sciences, 2019, October 29th. Every Child Shines, using formative assessment to reflect on children's individual knowledge and skills. Video. YouTube. https://www.youtube.com/watch?time_continue=3 and v=5q3tf4hrpu and feature =emb logo. This video introduces early educators to the best practices in using formative assessment data from a developmental perspective for planning and differentiating instruction. Established Indiana Early Learning Advisory Committee, 2017. ELAC Early Learning Data Informed http://www.lsndiana.org/lsndiana/wp-content/uploads/018/eloc-early-learning-data-toolkit-final-December 2017 2.pdf. This toolkit helps prepare communities for collecting and working with data to answer questions that are significant to a child's progress in school. Established Gundler D., Nicholas A., and Belodoff K., 2017. Data-informed stakeholders, building family capacity to understand and use EICSD program data. The Center for Idea Early Childhood Data Systems, https://dosicenter.tree.com/downloads, doci_presentations/act2017_family capacity.pdf. This resource shares how to increase the capacity of families to understand and use data to ask questions and make decisions related to student learning. Established the Center for Idea Early Childhood Data Systems, National Center for Systemic Improvement, and the Early Childhood Technical Assistance Center, 2018. Telling your SSIP story in an infographic, strategies, tips, and examples. SRI International, https://docicenter.tree.com/downloads/doci_papers, SSIPY511_infographic guide.pdf. This guide describes a process for creating effective infographics for sharing state system improvement plan data with stakeholders. Established 2.J. Staff engage in data discussions in which data are used to guide staff professional development. Colorado Department of Education, 2016. Using child assessment data to achieve positive outcomes. Video. http://www.cde.state.co.us/results matter/USINGCHILDASSESSMENTDATATOACHIVEPOSITIVEOUTCOMES player. This video shows how staff can use data for many program elements, such as making improvements to instruction, establishing additional supports teachers need in the classroom, and communicating program effectiveness to potential private funders. Established Indiana Early Learning Advisory Committee. 2017. ELAC Early Learning Data Informed Decision Making Toolkit. http://wp-content/uploads/ls-indiana.org/ls-earning-data-toolkit-final- December 2017 This toolkit helps prepare communities for collecting and working with data to answer questions that are significant to a child's progress in school. Established B7. Appendix B Resource Guide Type Resource Description and Purpose Level Hendricks D. Bernstein H. and Ruggiero T. 2017. Developing Local Data Teams, Moving Toward Data-Informed Decision-Making, PowerPoint Slides. The Center for Idea Early Childhood Data Systems. Retrieved January 23, 2019 from https://device-center.org/developing-local-data-teams-moving-toward-data-informed-decision-making/. This presentation describes the purpose of having local data teams, explains how they operate, and gives examples of how the data teams make decisions on data use. Established means B. Padilla C. and Gallagher L. 2010. Use of education data at the local level, from accountability to instructional improvement. U.S. Department of Education, Office of Planning, Evaluation and Policy Development. https://www.ed.gov/rschet/eval/tech/use-of-education-data use of education data.pdf. This report discusses the ways that districts around the nation encourage and strengthen district-wide use of data and the barriers to doing so. Established 2.k. Staff demonstrate commitment to using data to identify and address achievement gaps by providing data disaggregated by student subgroups, for example, geographic locality, race, ethnicity, disability type, age, gender, or other criteria through framing of useful questions that inform data-driven decisions. Institute of Education Sciences, 2016, November 30th. Teacher Data Use Survey Webinar Series. Webinar 4, Communicating Results Video. YouTube. https://www.youtube.com/watch_v=gfc5c0lhv8s. This webinar describes approaches for sharing results from the Teacher Data Use Survey, which was developed to gauge how teachers use data. The webinar provides a template for reporting. Exemplary SEDL, 2016, September 1st. Data Use Early Education Video. YouTube. https://www.youtube.com/watch_v=jsqvqi4ms. This video shows 9 standards for data use in early childhood education, including ways in which preschool and K-3 teachers can collaborate on routines. Exemplary 2.l. Staff create as needed and make available a variety of data products, videos, webinars, or displays, tables, infographics to enhance understanding of the data for a variety of audiences, families, community stakeholders, policymakers, and so on. The Center for Idea Early Childhood Data Systems, 2017. Longitudinal Summary Statements Graphing Templates. Retrieved January 23, 2019 from https://device-center.org/longitudinal-summary-statements-graphing template. This tool provides Microsoft Excel templates that states can use to transform data into longitudinal summary statement graphs that can be copied and pasted into other documents for sharing. The tool can also be used at the district or program level. The templates can be adapted to create graphs of program summary data and then copied and pasted into presentations and reports. Exemplary Gundler, D. Nicholas, A. and Belodoff, K. 2017. Data-informed stakeholders. Building family capacity to understand and use EICSE program data. The Center for Idea Early Childhood Data Systems. https://desicenter.tree.com/downloads, desci_presentations/act2017 family-capacity.pdf. This resource shares how to increase the capacity of families to understand and use data to ask questions and make decisions related to student learning. Exemplary the Center for Idea Early Childhood Data Systems, National Center for Systemic Improvement, and the Early Childhood Technical Assistance Center. 2018. Telling your SSIP story in an infographic, strategies, tips, and examples. SRI International, https://desicenter.tree.com/downloads/deci_papers, SSIPY511_infographic guide.pdf. This guide describes a process for creating effective infographics for sharing state system improvement plan data with stakeholders. Exemplary the Center for Idea Early Childhood Data Systems and the National Center for Systemic Improvement. 2018. Data Visualization Toolkit, Revised. Retrieved January 23, 2019, from https://desicenter.org/data-visualization-toolkit-2/. This toolkit provides users with the tools necessary to present data to stakeholders in meaningful and accessible ways. Exemplary the Center for Idea Early Childhood Data Systems. N.D. Building stakeholder knowledge about data. Retrieved January 23, 2019, from https://desicenter.org/stakeholder-knowledge-toolkit/. This toolkit provides stakeholders working with individuals with disabilities Education Act Part 100, Early Intervention Services for Infants and Toddlers with Disabilities, and Part B 619, Special Education Services for School-Aged Children with Disabilities programs with an introduction to relevant data to allow them to be easily involved in conversations around data. Exemplary B8. Appendix B Resource Guide Type Resource Description and Purpose Level 2.m. Data team leaders conduct data discussions with all staff to monitor and improve individual student learning, school-wide learning, and teaching practices. Early Childhood Learning and Knowledge Center. 2018. How to use Excel to manage data to improve teaching and learning video. https://eclkc.os.acf hhs.gov/video/how-use-excel-manage-data-improve-teaching-learning. This video demonstrates how Microsoft Excel 2007-2010 can be used to manage and display data. Exemplary Early Childhood Learning and Knowledge Center. 2015. Preparing and collecting data video. https://eclkc.os.acf.hhs.gov/video/preparing collecting data. This video shows users how to collect, clean, and use data to demonstrate progress toward goals. Exemplary Early Childhood Learning and Knowledge Center. 2013. Let's talk about data. Leading Cultures of Inquiry video. https://eclkc.os.acf.hhs.gov/video/let's talk about data leading cultures inquiry. This video uses a three-step model to demonstrate how to make data dialogues useful and meaningful. Exemplary Early Childhood National Centers and National Center on Program Management and Fiscal Operations. N.D. Tip sheet. Asking the right questions. U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Administration for Children and Families. https://eclkc.os.acf.hhs.gov/sites/default/files/pdf asking right questions tip sheet.pdf. This tip sheet provides suggestions for appropriate dialogue about ongoing monitoring of data during the assessment process. Exemplary B9. Appendix B Resource Guide Element 3. Data Used Monitoring, Support, and Accountability Type Resource 3.8. Staff ensure completion of student assessments and correct incomplete assessments in a timely manner. 3.b. Teaching staff receive adequate support, materials, and training from leadership, administrators, and principals to use data. Description and Purpose Level Colorado Department of Education. 2009. Using video for self-reflection video. http://www.cde.state.co.us/results/usingvidoforselfrectio in player. This video shows an evaluator taking a video of herself during an early intervention evaluation and then reviewing it to see what was effective and what needed improvement. Colorado Department of Education. 2015. The Results Matter Expansion Project Step-by-Step Video. http://www.cdesuls/teresmatter/teacherisultsmatterslashtherljctstepbystep player. The Results Matter Expansion Project provided iPads and laptops to classrooms as well as technical advisors to train teachers to use these tools. These were helpful for teachers in documenting children's behavior, in engaging parents in conferences, and in making instructional improvements. Foundational Colorado Department of Education. 2011. Example of using video for coaching at SD27J preschool video. http://www.cdesuls/resultsmatterexampleofusingvideofsd27jpreschool player. 3.c. Staff use data to track and measure the fidelity and quality of assessments and staff participation in data use trainings. This video shows how a classroom observation video can help guide a discussion between a teacher and a coach about strengths and areas for improvement. Colorado Department of Education. 2009. Using video for self-reflection video. http://www.cde.state.co.us/usingvidoforselfrectio in player. This video shows an evaluator taking a video of herself during an early intervention evaluation and then reviewing it to see what was effective and what needed improvement. Applied Colorado Department of Education. 2013. Teaming on the use of the gold registered sign documentation app video. http://www.cde.state.co.us/resultsmatter/teamingangioenthusiasioftgiomentatianapp player. Colorado Department of Education. 2013. Using the gold registered sign documentation app to better understand children's communication video. http://www.cde state.co.us/resultsmatter/usengetioenthusiasioftgiomentationdcommunicio in player. 3.d. Staff have established processes, routines for entering documentation in the online or ongoing assessment tool. In this video, an early childhood professional, a paraprofessional, and a lead teacher paraprofessional discuss how they work together to document classroom data using the TS Gold documentation application, and then use the data to talk about student progress. This video demonstrates how the TS Gold documentation app can be used to gather language sample data from students in the classroom. Once a sample has been gathered, a teacher can upload it to Gold Online and add more detail to the data and track progress. Applied Colorado Department of Education. 2012. First Look. Teaching Strategies Gold registered sign documentation app video. http://www.cde.state.co.us/results matter FIRSTLOCATHEGCHINGSTRATGOLDDOCUMENTATION player. This video presents a short training on using the TS Gold documentation app, including how to take a photo or record a video or audio of a student, add notes, assign documentation and objectives, and then upload. Colorado Department of Education, 2015, February 3rd. Using the iPod Touch and iPhone to record video and photographic documentation, video. YouTube, https://www.youtube.com/watch question v equals QO- my 0J4 and feature equals player embedded. This video shows how early childhood educators use the iPod Touch and iPhone for classroom data, including for taking photos and videos of students, reviewing these with students for reflection, and allowing students to video and photograph each other during activities. Applied Colorado Department of Education, 2010. Watching video documentation with children, video. http://www.cde.state.co.us/results matter/WATCHINGVIDODOCUMENTATION in player. This video shows an example of how a child interacts with video data by recalling what she had done in the activity and noticing what others were doing around her. The teacher incorporates the additional data to better see what the student has learned. Colorado Department of Education, 2010. Using documentation at Emerald Preschool, video. http://www.cde.state.co.us/results matter/USINGDOCUMENTATIONETMERALDPRESCHOL player. This video shows how a preschool teacher uses data in a variety of ways, including assessing student progress, revisiting activities with the student through video documentation, communicating student progress with families, and informing other teachers of successful activities. Applied Foundational Applied B10. Appendix B Resource Guide Type Resource 3.E. Staff participates in professional development that supports user skills and competencies to understand, interpret, and use data effectively. Description and Purpose Level Cowan, D. 2009. Creating a community of professional learners. An Inside View. SEDL Letter, 21/1/2025. Retrieved January 23rd, 2019 from https://sedl.org pubs sedl-letter/v21n01/professor_learn.html. Hamilton, L. Halverson, R. Jackson, S. Mandinock, E. Supovitz, J. and Wayman, J. 2009. Using student achievement data to support instructional decision-making, NCE 2009-4067. U.S. Department of Education, Institute of Education Sciences, National Center for Education Evaluation and Regional Assistance. https://ies.gov/nce/wwc/docs/practice guide/ddm_pg_092909.pdf. This resource describes a method for developing a professional learning community centered on collaboration and ongoing professional development, including data use. Applied, this guide provides 5 recommendations on how student achievement data can be used for instructional improvement and for how students can use their own data to set personal learning goals. For this to be successful, a clear understanding is needed of the way data are used and supported school-wide and district-wide. Applied Tobia, E. 2007. The Professional Teaching and Learning Cycle, Implementing a Standards-Based Approach to Professional Development. SEDL Letter, 19/1/1115. Retrieved January 23, 2019 from http://www.sedl.org/pubs/sedl letter V19N01 professional teaching and learning cycle.html 3.f. Multiple resources and tools, for example, help desk, analytic and querying tools, web portal are available for a variety of data users to facilitate access to data and to support data use. This resource discusses the professional teaching and learning cycle, which promotes job-embedded professional development, collaboration among teacher peers, and student learning aligned to state standards. Applied Yun K. S. Duncan T. Lee S. W.Y. Scarloss B. and Shapley K. L. 2007. Reviewing the evidence on how teacher professional development affects student achievement, REL 2007 No. 033. U.S. Department of Education, Institute of Education Sciences, National Center for Education Evaluation and Regional Assistance, Regional Educational Laboratory Southwest, https://eyes ed.gov/nce/edlabs/regions/southwest/pdf/rel_200703.pdf. This resource reviews 9 studies that meet U.S. Department of Education's What Works Clearinghouse, WWC evidence standards and that discuss the link between professional development for teachers and student achievement. WWC provides support to educators on evidence-based decision-making. Applied Colorado Department of Education, 2013. Using technology to enhance instruction and family engagement video. http://www.cdE.state.co.us/results/matter/usingtechnolgymytogent player. This video shows how teachers can use technology to improve instruction and engage families. Tablets or interactive whiteboards can be used to engage students during instruction and document student learning in progress. Data might include recorded videos that can be shared with children and families. There are also online message boards for parents as well as teachers to stay connected and share data. Applied Colorado Department of Education, 2013, teaming on the use of the gold registered sign documentation app video. http://www.cde.state.co.us/results/TEAMINGONTHEOUSEMENTIONAPP player. In this video, an early childhood professional, a paraprofessional, and a lead teacher paraprofessional discuss how they work together to document classroom data using the TS Gold documentation application. They can then use the data to talk about student progress. Applied Colorado Department of Education, 2016. Using child assessment data to achieve positive outcomes video. http://www.cde.state.co.us/results/matter-usingchildlessesmentitivoutscientiveoutscientiveoutsmes player. Colorado Department of Education, 2013, teaming on the use of the gold registered sign documentation app video. http://www.cde.state.co.us/results matter/TAMINGONTHEOUSEMENTIONAPP player. This video shows how staff can use data for many program elements, such as making improvements to instruction, establishing additional supports teachers need in the classroom, and communicating program effectiveness to potential private funders. Established in this video, an early childhood professional, a paraprofessional, and the lead teacher paraprofessional discuss how they work together to document classroom data using the TS Gold documentation application. They can then use the data to talk about student progress. The established Colorado Department of Education, 2013, using technology to enhance instruction and family engagement video. http://www.cde.state.co.us/results matter USINGTECHNOLOGYTOENHANCIINSTRUCTIONandFMILYNGAGNENT player. This video shows how teachers can use technology to improve instruction and engage families. Tablets or interactive whiteboards can be used to engage students during instruction and document student learning in progress. Data might include recorded videos that can be shared with children and families. There are also online message boards for parents as well as teachers to stay connected and share data. B11. Appendix B Resource Guide Type Resource 3.g. On a regular basis, staff have dedicated, structured time for collaborative review and data use planning. Colorado Department of Education, 2014. Collaborating to support Aiden video. http://www.cde.state.co.us/results matter/COLLABORATINGTOSUPPORTAIDEN player. 3.I. Staff hold data discussions across classes grades to support children's transitions. 3.J. Staff hold organizational members accountable for making data-informed decisions and for the results of those decisions. Description and purpose. This video shows how an interventionist and a preschool teacher use data together to plan for how Aiden, a child with an immune disease that exposes him to infection, can attend class via video conferencing. This resource contains guidance on high-quality data and explains how to determine the quality of data. Level established early childhood learning and knowledge center. N.D. Planning for assessment video. https://eclk.ocf.hhs.gov/video/planning-assessment. 3.H. Staff have documented data specifications, for example, data elements, report criteria, querying parameters, restrictions related to data elements to answer specific questions, and documentation is updated as needed. This in-service suite describes how teachers can plan efficiently for conducting ongoing assessments of children's learning in the preschool classroom. Gould T. Nicholas A. Ruggiero T. Blandford W. Thayer S. and Bull B. 2015. Types of data systems. The Center for Idea Early Childhood Data Systems. https://design_papers/DSL_brief_types_final_data_scores_type_brief_final_data_scores_final_data_two015015012_pdf. This resource describes the purposes of 4 types of data systems frequently used for Part 100, Early Intervention Services for Infants and Toddlers with Disabilities, and Part B 619, Special Education Services for School-Aged Children with Disabilities programs. Established U.S. Department of Education, 2005. Information Quality Guidelines. Retrieved January 23, 2019 from https://www.ed.gov/policy/GEN/IQ/ick_4.html. Fain A. and Eason D. 2016. Collaborating for seamless transitions from early childhood education into elementary schools in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Voices in Urban Education, 2016 43, 1626. Retrieved January 23, 2019 from http://vu.annenberg-institute.org/issues/43/collaborating-seamless-transitions Early Childhood Education Elementary Schools Tulsa. Districts, schools, teachers, and parents partner to support student transitions into elementary school. This sharing of data ensures stability of care and supports parent engagement in their children's schooling. Established Peters S. Hartley C. Rogers P. Smith J. and Carr M. 2009. Supporting the transition from early childhood education to school. Insights from One Center of Innovation Project. Teaching and Learning. 2009-3, 410. http://www.nsr.org.nz/system/files/journals/set2009_3_04_0.pdf. This journal article provides ways in which early childhood education and elementary schools can work with data to make the transition for students and families a smooth process. Little M. H. Vogel L. and Curran F. C. 2016. Facilitating the transition to kindergarten. What ECLSK data tell us about school practices then and now? ARA Open 2.3. Retrieved January 23, 2019 from https://doi.org10.1177% 2F23328584166555766. This article discusses results from the Early Childhood Longitudinal Study, Kindergarten, which examined the ways in which schools used data to support students transitioning from early childhood to elementary. Established Anketel M. Stiptik D. Hudson L. and Belodoff K. 2017. Going from questions to answers. Using data at the local level. Poster. The Center for Idea Early Childhood Data Systems. Retrieved January 23, 2019 from https://decicenter.org going-from-questions-to-answers-using-data-at-the-local-level/ Hebler K. Kasperzak C. and Taylor C. 2017. Using child outcomes data to improve programs for children and families. Poster. The Center for Idea Early Childhood Data Systems. https://decicenter.sri.com/downloads/deci_presentations. DECI poster _DAC2017_outcomes data_final.pdf. The resources share best practices on how to support the data culture by asking questions and collecting data to answer the questions. The resource shows how Nevada collects and uses data for preschool special education outcomes. Established Hendricks D. Bernstein H. and Ruggiero T. 2017. Developing local data teams. Moving toward data-informed decision-making, PowerPoint slides. The Center for Idea Early Childhood Data Systems. Retrieved January 23, 2019 from https://decicenter.org/developing-local-data-teams-moving toward-data-informed-decision-making/. This presentation describes the purpose of having local data teams, explains how they operate, and gives examples of how the data teams make decisions on data use. Established B12. Appendix 100. Action Plan Template Date. Data Team Members. Goal Reviewer. Instructional Coach Optional. Element S and Item S. Data Use Goal, written as SMART Goal. Action Steps Supporting Resources Responsible Party Timeline for Completion Measurement Accountability Challenges. What activities will we engage in to reach our data use goals? What resources can we use? Who will be involved in achieving this action step? Who will monitor progress? How long will it take to complete this action step? How will we know we have completed this action step? What challenges do we anticipate or have we encountered in achieving this action step? C1. Acknowledgements. The development of this early childhood data use assessment tool would not have been possible without the support and contributions of Joshua Stewart, Trudy Sherasaro, Carrie Friedman, and Judy Stevenson Garcia. The authors would also like to thank early childhood staff from Minot Head Start and Dickinson Public Schools in North Dakota, Glenwood R8 School District in Missouri, and the Colorado Department of Education. REL 2021-067 March 2021. This report was prepared for the Institute of Education Sciences, IES, under contract ED-IS-17-C-0005 by the Regional Educational Laboratory Central administered by Marzano Research. The content of the publication does not necessarily reflect the views or policies of IES or the U.S. Department of Education, nor does mention of trade names, commercial products, or organizations imply endorsement by the U.S. government. This REL report is in the public domain. While permission to reprint this publication is not necessary, it should be cited as Germaroff G., Joyce J., Kellerman B., and Bopp L. 2021. Early Childhood Data Use Assessment Tool, REL 2021-067. U.S. Department of Education, Institute of Education Sciences, National Center for Education Evaluation and Regional Assistance, Regional Educational Laboratory Central, http://ies.ed.gov/nce/edlabs. This resource is available on the Regional Educational Laboratory website at http://ies.ed.gov/nce/edlabs. C2.
Okay, pause.
That was attached to the bill and passed during the 81st legislative session. However, we have scaled down the original ask now that we have a little more clarity on how many lounges we can expect. This analysis was done at the request of the Ways and Means and Finance Committees during the legislative session. That we take a closer look once the bill passed and make any further adjustments before coming back in front of the IFC for authorization. Our original request was for 30 positions. The request before you now is for 23 positions. The positions support all aspects of what will be needed to facilitate consumption lounges, including the necessary administrative and program support staff, inspection and audit staff to perform pre-opening and ongoing compliance checks, investigation staff to perform background checks and suitability determinations, and enforcement staff to perform regulatory and criminal investigations. A more detailed description of these duties, as well as the workload statistics used to determine the number needed, are also included in the supporting materials that you have. I would also add that our agency looked very closely at our anticipated needs during the entirety of the lounge rollout period. This allowed us to stagger the start dates of all the requested positions throughout the fiscal year in an effort to save costs wherever possible. The request for 23 positions is based on a projection of around 60 licenses that we anticipate would be issued in the first year, roughly 40 retail attached licenses and 20 independent licenses. We were able to better develop these numbers once the final bill was passed. If you remember, it was a little bit of a moving target during the session as the bill was amended. To give the committee a quick idea of where we're at with the launch of the lounge program, we've already begun developing draft regulations and designing the application and licensing process. The full promulgation process will take place over several months, facilitated by a number of public meetings and workshops. The CCB team internally, along with the Attorney General's office, will be tasked with finalizing the lounge regulations, as will the newly initiated Cannabis Advisory Commission through a number of its newly created subcommittees. Those subcommittees will begin to meet at the end of this month to start developing their recommendations around the topics of public health, public safety, and social equity as it pertains to the lounges. For some last perspective for the committee, one of the first actions the CCB was required to do as part of AB 341 was to send a letter out to all adult use retail stores indicating that they may qualify for a retail attached consumption lounge license. What we did in addition to that is to include in the letter a request for any licensee to indicate if they plan to apply for a retail attached lounge license and indicate if they could reasonably open one up in the first half of 2022. We did this in part to gauge interest in the program, but also to provide some potential opportunity for our investigations team to get a head start on some of the suitability and background checks. To date, we've received 59 letters of intent from adult use retail stores indicating they plan to apply and open a retail attached lounge. Given the fact that we based all projections on 40, to no one's surprise, there is a lot of interest in this program. I believe that underscores the importance of ensuring we have the appropriate resources in place for an effective and ultimately safe rollout of consumption lounges. We understand that by adding 23 new positions will require significant efforts in recruitment, hiring, and training. However, our agency has taken a number of preemptive steps to prepare for this growth. We look forward and are excited at the prospect of bringing incredible new talent to the CCB team to facilitate and properly regulate consumption lounges here in Nevada. So with that, Mr. Chairman, I know this has been previously discussed during the session, so I can stop here and move on to questions, and I'm happy to expand on any of the details in the request.
Thank you, Mr. Klimas. Yes, it has been discussed extensively already, but I think we have some questions from Assemblyman Yeager.
Thank you so much, Chair Brooks. And if you'll allow, I have a few questions. It's good to see you again, Director Klimas, and thank you for your work on this. I think you covered most of the highlights. The first question was really about the tasks associated with getting lounges up and running. And you had mentioned the regulatory process is underway. So I guess my question, looking at the big amount of revenue coming in, it's the application fee for the retail store consumption lounges that you noted. It seems like 59 different entities have indicated that they might be interested. How far along do you think we're going to have to get before the CCB is going to be able to bring in that $100,000 licensing fee per retail store consumption lounge applicant? And then if you could give me maybe your crystal ball in terms of when you think realistically we might see one of these lounges up and running.
Sure. Thank you, Assemblyman and Tyler Climbers, for the record. If you could only see the giant consumption lounge timeline on my wall at my office, it would be even more clear. But as I mentioned, over the next 6 months is probably going to be the time frame that internally we work on developing some regulations. The subcommittees, the advisory commission are going to work on their sets of recommendations for the board. If all goes as planned, we can circle back together to have some final 1 or 2 workshops globally on consumption lounges towards the end of the year. If that happens, the board will be able to vote on adoption of these regulations either maybe in December or at the beginning of next year. Once the regulations are in place, then we can proceed with application and licensing. So again, all goes as planned. We're looking at least the first quarter or the first half of 2022. Not only to see the lounges open, but that also the first part is where we would start to realize that revenue, those $100,000 non-refundable application periods. So expecting that in the first quarter, expecting by mid 2022, actually seeing some licenses open.
Thank you for that response. And then, I note on the request, you have 23 different positions that are being requested. And as you noted, I think that's a slight reduction of the ones that were originally in the fiscal note in front of the money committees. But I just wondered, I know you and I have had a lot of discussions about what this is going to look like, but if you could just give a sense of what are these 23 positions, like what's the nuts and bolts of what they're going to be doing? What role are they going to play in making sure we get lounges up and running and then making sure that they're being regulated appropriately?
Sure. Thank you, Tyler Climbers, for the record again. And yeah, so to implement a program of this size and this complexity, it touches all aspects and all core functions of the agency. And so that is administration and licensing, that's audit and inspection, that's investigation, and that's enforcement. That's what we do here at the CCB. And so you'll see that there's additions and staffing in each one of those categories. Administration and licensing is going to oversee this process of accepting applications. We also have administrative support staff that's going to need to process those agent cards. We anticipate a lot more agent card applications, a lot more workforce entering the cannabis industry as a result of these consumption lounges. For audit inspectors, after they do some initial research on consumption lounges, we're going to need to go out there and first review their plans. Then we'll go out and do pre-opening inspections. Then we do final inspections. And then, of course, we'll do ongoing compliance inspections as we do normally. With a new program like this, we can anticipate that we will be visiting these lounge facilities much more frequently than we do some of our normal establishments, at least on the front end. As far as investigations division goes, no matter if you're currently in the industry or you're coming into the industry, you still need to be deemed suitable by the board before you're issued a consumption lounge license. This is a new license. And so our investigations team is going to have to perform those suitability checks, draft those suitability reports for the board, and the board at a public meeting is going to have to deem these applicants suitable to own a consumption lounge license. And then finally, on the enforcement side of things, we have an enforcement team of 4 post officers now. This adds 4 more. It doesn't add them until April of next year, realizing that that's likely when the consumption lounges are going to open. But the enforcement team is going to be able to go out and perform regulatory and criminal investigations. They'll also need to be available 24/7, knowing that these lounge hours will likely match that. And so that's kind of what we're looking at and kind of the broad high level of what the duties are of these 23 positions.
Thank you, Director. Certainly appreciate that. And then I think maybe the final topic area is just, you're looking at 23 new positions, and I believe 10 new positions were approved in the legislative session for the CCB. It is a tight hiring market out there from everything I've heard and I've seen. So can you give us a little bit of a sense of how you're going to go about finding these 33 individuals, recruiting them and getting them up and running in time to make this program a success?
Sure, and thanks again for the question. Tyler Climbers, for the record. I really view the 10 positions as part of the budget approval, and the 23 as part of consumption lounges with this request is very separate and apart. Those 10 positions, we needed those yesterday, and those are going to go for the normal duties that we're doing now. And some of the positions of those 10 are kind of non-traditional, like an administrative law judge and a legal secretary. And so we're ready to go. We've already started recruitment on those positions. They began on October 1. If there is any crossover, so Some of those positions out of those 10 are going to be auditors and inspectors. And we're obviously requesting additional auditors and inspectors as part of the consumption lounges, but they're not going to overlap. And so those auditors, inspectors that start in October as part of the 10, we're not going to hire for consumption lounge auditors, inspectors until January and then April of next year. So certainly understanding the realities of recruiting a large number of individuals. Some of the things that we've done, and we've already implemented these things, and the team has done an incredible job. We created an employment page on our website. We started to utilize social media and Twitter to really get the word out there about recruitments. We stole a lot of best practices from our counterparts in other states. We created our own best practices. And so in addition to that, I do want to remark too that we have started to develop relationships with our university system. And I think this is hopefully one of the biggest deals. I've been in front of a public health class at UNR talking about the agency and trying to drive recruitment there. As this committee knows, we have the ability to underfill when necessary. And so we have all options open to us. And that's what we're looking at when we go down this. And I guess finally, I'd say is this is not taking us by surprise. My leadership team and I, we met in January of October 2020, 6 months before this agency came online. And we knew where we wanted to go. We knew this agency was going to grow. And so, we're ready for this. And it's a big part of what we've already baked into our vision and our plan for the CCB.
Thank you, Director. And then with indulgence of the chair, I'll just have one final question. During the session, we talked quite a bit about this consumption lounge model and the fact that obviously there's an investment up front to be able to regulate them, to get them up and running, just as there was with medical cannabis and adult use cannabis. But sort of the hope there was always that the revenues would cover those expenses and then some. And I believe as part of the other work program we were talking about, there's some additional revenue being projected for the distributive school account. And so my question is just a global one. Since this bill has passed and now we're a couple months away from, I think, it being signed, is what you're seeing in terms of interest, does it make you more or less confident that this is going to be an industry that's going to pay for itself and then hopefully be able to fund education in a way that I think we'd all like to do here in the legislature?
And thank you for the question again, Tyler Climbs, for the record. Yeah, I mean, we've seen since I've been here in the almost 2 years, almost 30% growth month over month, year over year, given the 1 or 2 months during COVID that we didn't see an increase or a limited increase, really. And you're right, you alluded to the work program item that was on the agenda before this, the distribution of $17+ million over what was projected to be deposited in what was the DSA. And that is certainly tax revenue, but it's also, time and effort billings, it's civil penalties now that we're regulating the industry as it should be regulated. And then if you're going to, I would imagine if you're going to open up even another sector of consumption lounges, I don't anticipate, any lapse in growth or any deduction or reduction in growth than what we've seen. I see it's just continuing to get larger and larger.
Thank you so much, Director. Thank you for the time, Chair. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Assemblyman, and thank you, Director Klimas. Do we have any other questions for Director Klimas from any other members of the committee?
Mr. Chairman, I do have a question very briefly.
We have Vice Chair Carlton. Please go ahead.
Thank you. And I'm just looking, in the number for independent consumption lounges application fee is 500. How did you come up with 500? And the fee is $10,000. Now I know there's an alternate way to licensure, the social impact one, which is like 2,500. How did you come up with 500 applications?
That's a great question, Tyler Klimas, for the record. And so I'll give you our methodology behind that. And we really took a close look at this. We take you back to 2014, the first licensing round for medical marijuana licenses. DPBH received 520 applications in that round. Now that was for all establishment types: cultivation, production, dispensary, and labs. Fast forward to 2018 for that retail licensing round, the most recent one, DOT, the Department of Taxation, received 462 applications. Both of those licensing rounds were severely underestimated as far as how many licenses they would receive. And so we feel like we're very much in a similar spot here, but I'll take you even down further. So what we looked at is there's approximately 160 current licensees that have either a cultivation facility or production facility, but don't have a retail store. We would expect that the majority, if not all of these, will apply for an independent lounge. There's businesses that do business in other states, not Nevada. There's no residency requirement for these independent licenses. So we'd expect maybe 100 of those to apply as well. There's also another group of these specialized entrepreneurs, right? We talk about restaurants, comedy clubs, nightclubs, yoga studios as part of this consumption lounge process. And so we think at least 200 of those, and again, that's in state and outside of state, would apply. And then obviously there's a small group of people out there that don't have any cannabis experience, but want to take a shot and get into this industry. We projected approximately 40 of those. And so just using kind of the historical licensing rounds as context and then going through and 500 is a number we feel very comfortable with. It may be low. This is the first in the nation type of license. For the independent side, it's really, as long as you're compliant, you fit within the regulations, it's really kind of up to you. There's not a lot of restrictions on what kind of business model and experience you need to have. And so, Vice Chair, I hope that answered your question about how we got to that number of 500.
Thank you very much. Very impressive. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Any other questions for Ms. Klimas? I see none. So I will now go to Superintendent Ebert on agenda or on F22 that we're taking together with this about the transfer of funds. And Superintendent Ebert, if you want to just walk us through that really quick.
Thank you, Chair Brooks. Go ahead, Heidi. For the record, I serve as the Deputy Superintendent for the Student Investment Division here at the Department of Education. Our work program is a companion work program to the agenda item you just discussed, and it aligns the revenue that is expected to be transferred into the pupil-centered funding plan account with the revenue projections that have been updated by the Cannabis Compliance Board.
Thank you. And if you could clarify what that amount is.
The work program would increase the revenue and expenditure authority by approximately $9.2 million in fiscal year 2022.
Thank you. Do any of the members have any questions for Ms. Hartz or Superintendent Ebert? Senator Keycaffer?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So do we have an estimate as to what that number might be for 23, since a lot of this revenue is tied to application fees? I assume those are going to be one time. So this isn't going to be an ongoing revenue stream at the same level, or would we expect that?
Heidi Hartz, for the record, we would defer that question to the Cannabis Compliance Board.
Sure, thank you. Tyler Klimas for the record. And so, yeah, those one-time application fees is something we'll realize in year one and likely not at least that large in year two. However, note the consumption lounge licenses are not capped. So this isn't the one lounge or the one licensing round and that's it. So there will be another licensing round, I mean, likely the next year, obviously gauging the popularity of the program. But yes, it will be, we won't realize that large of an influx of revenue going forward after this initial licensing fee or licensing round, excuse me.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you, Senator. Thank you, Mr. Klimas. Any other questions from the committee of Superintendent Ebert, Ms. Hartz, or Mr. Klimas? All right, I see none. And before I request a motion, I just want to remind all of our members, if since we're doing this on Zoom, if I can't see you, I don't know what your vote is, and I will assume that you had to step away or absent for the vote. So now that I've made that request, I would entertain a motion to approve items 7 21 and 22 together.
So moved, Mr. Chair.
I have a motion from Vice Chair Carlton. I believe I heard a second from Senator Dennis.
Comment, Mr. Chair.
Oh, Assemblywoman Titus.
Thank you. With the motion and the second, I just want to make a comment before the vote. Although I did vote against the consumption lands during session, I do feel that they need regulation. I certainly am a little concerned about the amount of cost it is to regulate this industry versus the amount that is truly going to education. But I appreciate Assemblyman Yeager's questions regarding that, about how much we spend to regulate this industry, but I will be supporting this motion. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you, Assemblywoman Titus. Any other comments on the motion? I see none. So all in favor of the motion, aye, and raise your hand. And opposed, nay. Raise your hand. So I have the motion passes unanimously with the members present. Assemblywoman Howdigy, I did not see you, so we'll. Oh, she's a aye.
I just wanted to
Appreciate it. Thank you. So it passes unanimously, and we can move on to our next items under item F. Thank you. And thank you, Ms. Adair, Mr. Klimas, Superintendent Ebert, and Ms. Hartz for helping us out this morning. That brings us to our next items, 23, 24, 25, 26, and 28. And we will be taking all of those together. They're all from the Department of Education. And we have with us Superintendent Ebert and Ms. Hartz, as well as, I believe, Mr. Moore and Ms. Gonzalez as well this morning, and to walk through those items. And so if you would like, Superintendent Ebert, you can kick it off and then hand it off to members of your team as appropriate.
Thank you, Chair Brooks. Heidi Hartz for the record. I'm going to go ahead and do the overview for each of these work programs and then allow the other deputies and the superintendent to answer more specific programmatic questions. So agenda item number 23 requests authority to receive and expend approximately $18.6 million in additional ARP funding. The American Rescue Plan includes supplemental funding for the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, or IDEA. These funds are intended to support early intervention and special education services for infants, toddlers, children, and youth with disabilities and their families. Agenda item 24 seeks authority to transfer funds out of the reserve category for the ARP ESSER funding and move it into the expense category so that we can move forward with two projects that have been identified as reasonable and appropriate for the use of these funds. And those would include projects that would allow us to address closing the opportunity gaps for certain students who have traditionally been underserved and to provide access to adult education and work development opportunities for eligible learners. Agenda item 26 also seeks to transfer ARP ESSER funding out of the reserve category and into an expenditure category. This would allow us to fulfill a contractual agreement that we have with one of our vendors to continue assessments of our students. This contract was negotiated during the legislative session. And during the negotiations, it was determined that there were some increases in the costs for these services that we were unable to address during the legislative session. So we're looking to backfill that contract for this biennium using these emergency relief funds. And agenda item 28 is a corresponding or companion work program to that. That would again allow us to fulfill our contractual obligation. And then I believe I skipped one other work program, and I apologize for that. That is the work program that seeks to transfer funding out of reserves and into an expense category so that the Department of Education can enter into an agreement with Donors Choose. During the legislative session, the department put forward that request as part of a budget amendment, and the members of the money committees asked the Department of Education continue to work with Donors Choose to determine if there are ways to reduce their project management costs. The department has been successful in those negotiations, and we appreciate the generosity and the collaborative nature of Donors Choose. And we hope that we can again present this work program for your consideration today. With that, we'd be happy to answer specific questions for any of those work programs.
All right, thank you, Ms. Hartz. I know Assemblyman Gorlow has a question to start off with, and then I have a few as well.
Chair Brooks. I was wondering if you could elaborate a little bit more about the projects and how they're going to assist the school district and the charter schools as they recover from the pandemic. And then I have one more quick question after that as well. Thanks.
So for the record, this is Superintendent Joan Ebert. Thank you for having us here this morning. All of these projects are in alignment with how the funds are allowed to be used during COVID, but more importantly, not only the federal guidance, but also the state guidance. So our own State Board of Education came up with 8 parameters for the expenditures of these funds: social emotional support, ensuring acceleration of learning, supports for our educators as, excuse me, as part of this work. And so all of these work programs do align with those guidelines.
Thank you. And when you were talking about item F23, early intervention was mentioned. Could you talk a little bit about what that encompasses?
Thank you. This is Jonathan Moore for the record. My apologies, my video does not seem to be working. But regarding the funds for special education, so early intervention includes ensuring that when students are in the initial phases of diagnosis or even prior to diagnosis, that they're able to receive supports that are needed in order to potentially correct challenges that they may be encountering.
Okay, so would that be the children of birth to 3, that portion of early intervention, or as they transition from the birth to 3 to the school system? Are we talking about that instead? And I apologize, my bird's having a fit.
No problem. This is Jonathan Moore for the record. So there are 2 funding streams under this particular award. There's the IDA Part B, which covers our students in K-12, and then there's Part C, which covers our students in early childhood. And so both of those funds combined make up this award to school districts to support early interventions as well as other services.
Okay, thank you very much. And thank you, Chair Brooks.
Thank you. Before, I wanted to kick off some questions on item 25, but before we go to that, do we have any other questions from members? I see that Vice Chair Carlston has a question.
And it is on item 25 also, Mr. Chairman, so you don't.
Okay, yeah, if we could just take those together, because I wanted to talk about those too. Senator Buck.
The cleanup better, thank you.
Yeah, Senator Buck.
Thank you, Chair Brooks. I just have a quick question for Superintendent Ebert. You know, I love Donors Choose because it really engages the outside communities and business and industry by having teachers write these simple grants for what they need in their schools for their kids, and have raised, you know, over $500,000 from outside agencies. So I just wondered if there was something in play to get private industry and business involved also to help support, so we can maybe double our dollars. Thank you, Senator Bach, for the question. We're really excited about the work, and I actually need to step back and thank the whole IFC for allowing us time to go back and work with Donors Choose. So this not only with the investment directly into our classrooms for our teachers and our children, also amplifying the opportunity for the project's private sector to support our communities. And over the years, we actually received a recent report from Donors Choose. Nevada educators have received over $10 million from not only the private sector within our state, but also around the United States. Folks want to support educators. They see the projects, they see them as innovation, and so they have been providing those funds. So we see this as not only these funds being made available at the state level, but to your point, to be made available for the private sector to also invest directly into our classrooms.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Chair Brooks. Thank you, Superintendent Ebert. It definitely is great when there's matched funding from outside agencies. It really does help. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Buck. Thank you, Superintendent. Before we dig deeper on 25, I think that Senator Keykefer had a question on item 23. And then I believe Assemblywoman Miller had a question on item 28. Senator Keykefer.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate it. I was trying to figure out the the distribution formula that you're using for the IDEA funds. The chart that's in our backup has sort of an initial calculation based on total student population, but then an overlay based on poverty. And I don't remember us ever using poverty as a distribution piece for special ed funds in the past. And maybe there's something specific in this grant, or maybe I just don't fully understand how we distribute them currently, but it's a new component of IDEA funds for me since neither of those programs are means tested. So if you could explain that, I would appreciate it.
This is Jonathan Moore for the record. So the distribution of funds uses the same formula as IDEA Part B and Part C. It's important to know that these are supplemental funds that were allocated to the LEAs by formula. And so this was at the direction of the Office of Special Education Programs through the United States Department of Education. So all funds must be allocated to LEAs. Funds may not be used to increase set aside funding. And so part of that allocation methodology stated that 85% of the funds were allocated to each LEA's relative proportion of the total public and private school enrollment. And this is sometimes referred to as the population distribution. And then the remaining 15% of those funds were allocated by each LEA's relative proportion of total free and reduced lunch participants. And so you may notice the variation because these are supplemental funds in response to COVID. The United States Department of Education did add the additional component.
Exactly what I needed. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Senator. And Assemblywoman Miller.
Thank you, Chair. My question is in regards to F28, and it's about offering the test in the three languages. So I know in 2019, there was legislation passed that stated that we would offer the standardized test in all available languages that are available, for instance, through SBAC and such. And I believe SBAC now is up to offering 20 different core languages. And so I'm just wondering, why are we limited to, well, I have a two-part question. One, it says to translate various assessments. So is that including all of the different assessments, not just the SBAC? Would that include MAP and other iReady, whatever, other tests that the students are taking? And also, why is it limited to just Spanish, Chinese, and Tagalog? And are there plans to increase? Because we know that our students here in Nevada speak more than just those three main languages.
Hello. We're waiting.
Chair, are they, is someone, or,
My apologies, my microphone. My
okay.
apologies. Jonathan, for the record, thank you, Assemblywoman. So there are two considerations with regard to the translation. So in 2019, you're right, the legislation was passed. There was not an
2019.
appropriation at that time. And so we're fortunate now to have the federal relief funds to be able to do that. This proposal is in regard.
Let me just pause for a second. What he's saying is totally incorrect. So let's just understand, they will produce the data. As we just heard all of that prior about data, right? Data is real.
Regard to the assessments within the Nevada state assessment system. And so Smarter Balance currently does offer the assessment in multiple languages. Currently, we have prioritized based on the funding part of the consideration, we've prioritized the top 3. It's important to note that for many of those languages, it's not necessarily the assessment, but various components of the assessment, such as the glossary, such as access to various tools that are offered in those multiple languages to support students. So this request is seeking to implement those at this time based on the amount of funding we have available and based on what the vendor actually has available for our specific assessment.
Follow-up, Chair, just a brief follow-up.
Please.
So with that, Dr. Moore, once we provide this, will this be ongoing? Then this won't just be where the translations and support systems are just available for that school year in 2022. Will this be continued throughout in the future with the future leases with the vendors?
Let's find out.
Jonathan Moore for the record. Thank you, Assemblywoman. So it is our hope that we will continue.
It is their hope.
To negotiate either or further extend or negotiate new contracts. This would be a service that we would include in those contract negotiations. They may require an additional appropriation depending on cost, but it is certainly our hope to continue to provide these supports to students moving forward.
You don't understand public education.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Assemblywoman. Thank you, Ms. Moore. And do we have any other questions on items 23, 24, 25, or 26 or 28? Because I think we have a couple questions on 25.
I don't know.
All right, I don't see any. So I'm just gonna, first of all, we talked so much about this item last in session, and I really appreciate, this is the donors choose item 25. I really appreciate the NDE staff and team and leadership going back
Donors choose,
addressing a lot of those issues that were brought up by the members, and then coming up with a creative solution to, I think,
federal
address
dollars.
Some of those concerns, but yet still use this important tool to put money and resources in places where they can be used the most. Can you help me understand how you're promoting, how you plan to promote this to individual educators?
Please.
Thank you, Chair Brooks. So one of the methods that I used, actually, when I started this position, teachers did feel they did not have direct communication from the State Department of Education. And we actually have educators here with us today. As they know, I started communicating directly with them via email, opportunities from our office that are made available to educators. So there is going to be a direct link between myself and all of the licensed educators within our state.
Nice.
Layering that, 9 of our school districts do have a donors choose liaison that helps work with the educators as if they choose to take advantage.
Only 9?
To develop their projects, make sure that they're aligned with our state standards, that they're not missing maybe a component, to have a successful project launch within their classroom for their students. And then also donors choose themselves, as you've seen in the documentation that is provided.
They just say,
really has stepped up. They listen to
free money
convening that was had. They watched it, they heard all of your questions. They actually are changing components of their website based on the conversation that was had
Based on the
between
conversation.
and amongst the members here. So it's a layered approach, starting directly with myself to the educators, districts,
Flexibility.
supporting the teachers, and then also donors choose.
Flexibility.
And I hope all of you as well.
Yes, hope. Me
Thank
too.
you, Superintendent.
Except for the Title I
Is
kids.
there, first of all, if you could provide a quick and easy way that we can share that with educators and staff
certainly.
and parents and friends and everyone like that, that would be great. But also, when you do get a communication with an educator that wants a project, what guidelines are being used by Donors Choose
Flexibility,
when
boo.
determining which projects will or will not receive funding?
Oh, they
So we
choose
went
themselves.
back to Donors Choose to look at all of the parameters,
All
the
the
standard
parameters.
components for projects. Within Donors Choose, start with the educator.
So with the
writing
educator
an
themselves.
essay describing their project and
Writing
the
an
ideas
essay,
that they
simply.
have for enhancing student learning. The teachers select specific resources needed to bring that project to life. And then the Donors Choose staff, gathers the materials, components to be able to mail directly
And
to
send
the
it right
teachers.
on over there, right?
That's the base and the standard work that Donors Choose
Yes.
has done. We, as a state, have asked them to customize additional components.
Really?
We've asked them to create a help center that
Creative.
explains the steps for qualification within details. Teachers will ask whether they're requesting instructional materials, and if so, they must align the Nevada academic content standards to their project.
To their project.
Teachers were also asked that if they're requesting professional development support, enhancement, that they then align, if they're
Professional
not directly
development.
aligned
Did you get it?
specifically to a standard, that they're aligned to Nevada's COVID-19 response and recovery.
COVID-19.
And
That's
that
how they're
means
doing it.
that there are
Flexibility,
4
boo.
categories in that area: ensuring safe and healthy in-person learning environments,
Only 4
conducive
categories.
to
That's
social,
only
emotional,
social and
academic
emotional.
development,
Academic.
access to distance education and technology capacity for educators, students, and families, social emotional support of
Social
students in
emotional.
response to COVID-19, and support to parents, families, and communities.
Oh,
So
how
those
detailed.
components are specific to the Nevada
Specific
project,
to the Nevada
based on our working with our team and Donors Choose.
Wow. What about the kids who
Thank
can't
you,
read?
Superintendent. I have some further questions from
Me
Senator
too.
Darrell Luke and then also Vice Chair Carlton. Senator Luke.
Thank you very much, Chair. Superintendent or whoever on
Anybody.
your team wants to answer this. Is there on the Donors Choose site where if I'm a teacher and I don't really know that these funds, I don't know where I'm going to get the funds from, but I want to get on Donors Choose and
Just
see if
want
I
to
can
get on the
find
list.
curriculum materials. Is there a spot on there
Of course.
where I
Just
can
click the
see that
button.
Nevada has funding available?
Not Nevada, Donors Choose. Federal dollars.
So there will be a specific component if this is approved that Nevada educators
We will
will
see.
drop into. So specific to our educators,
Federal
they
dollars.
actually, since the time we all met, they spun up Donors Choose, spun up a specific site for Hawaii. Hawaii made a determination to support all of their
wow.
educators as
You've
well.
got
So
pull
we
over
will
there
have a
somehow.
similar location based just for us.
Yeah, wow.
Thank you very much for that information. And I agree with Chair Brooks, if we could have information, because periodically we get emails from teachers or we're contacted by people who want to know that information as well. So thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Senator. Thank you,
Be
Superintendent.
concerned.
Vice Chair Carlton,
I would
if you
be.
still had a question, please go ahead.
Please do.
Yes, I did. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. And thank you, Superintendent, for your patience in me having to schedule a meeting and cancel it and then making time for a phone call. I do appreciate that. I guess I want to go into the biggest concern that I heard in the committee when we had last time was the 15%. The confusion amongst all that, that was going to be about 1.2 million. That is no longer part of this discussion. Donors Choose has said that they will absorb
Waive that. They're gonna waive that
I'm
because they're only gonna
assuming
use this
that
federal
we're sending
dollars.
this $8 million out all in one tranche,
Mhm.
and that they will probably put it into an account, and that's where they're probably going to make their money is on the float on those
They're gonna make
dollars.
money on the back of the federal dollars. You
If that
get me?
is true, one of
A
my other
not-for-profit
concerns might be is
organization,
if we do send it all out in one,
one
and things don't
chunk
go the
of
way we
money,
want it to go, we don't
$8
really have a
million.
lot of options. So if you could address whether it's all going out
Please
at one
do.
time or whether it's going out proportionally. And also if you would make sure to mention, it was mentioned earlier about matching programs. This is not a matching program. There is no requirement for a match. This is an appropriation of $8 million to a private entity to support teachers. So I just want to
Yes.
make sure that we have a
Let's
very
get
clear
that
record. If you could
clear.
address those two items, that would be great. Thank
Please
you.
do.
Thank you, Vice Chair Carlton. So first, to your first question, we will be doing this on a reimbursement basis.
Reimbursement, boo.
And the projects, once they are let, they will be invoicing us. And so that will be the control there. The second question in regard to,
Intelligent people.
my apologies, it was more of a statement in regard to, yes, that this is not a requirement for a match from private, that it is the $8 million that would be allocated from the state with no requirement.
From the federal government. Let's get that clear.
And thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I just want to make sure we're very clear that we're not requiring teachers to come up with a match. If it's over $800 and it's a $1,000 project, they can get folks to do it, but we're not making them come up with the match.
And
So
as long
thank you
as
very
it's
much.
state money, I'm not concerned. But if it's federal dollars, boo, it's a
Thank you,
different
Vice Chair,
story.
for clarifying that. And thank you, Superintendent Ebert, for clarifying that. I have another question from Assemblyman Watts.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, for the question. I just wanted to follow back up on what some of my colleagues had asked in terms of the outreach and engagement strategy. And I was wondering if you could just elaborate a
How
little
does
bit further
everyone
on,
know?
any plans that you have to identify and target specific schools. So I'm particularly familiar with this because I just went through and looked at all the schools that are in the district that I represent. For their projects coming back to school, and saw that some schools have many projects and many teachers are posting projects, and some schools have one teacher that is frequently posting projects, and some schools don't have any projects at all. So I was just wondering if you could speak
how it really works
a little bit to any intent that you have to identify and target some of those areas where there currently is kind of a lack of projects coming forward, and particularly if you're gonna layer kind of an analysis in to make sure that schools that are serving lower income student populations are being represented in this channel, because as we know, those are schools that particularly struggle to bring in some of these supplemental resources in various formats to support
federal
initiatives
dollars
in their schools.
Kiddos.
Thank you for great comments and questions in there as well. So as I noted, there are 9 school districts that already have staff identified within them that support Donors Choose and helping teachers put up projects. So looking across the entire state, which we do have those metrics that you're talking about, who currently posts and then who will post. You're absolutely right. And sometimes staff members are not aware of opportunities, and it is incumbent upon us to make sure that everyone is aware. So calling upon all of you, raising your hands, which I appreciate, amplifying that, but being strategic with the data of those that traditionally have not I haven't had the opportunity specifically to reach out to principals directly, but all of 17 superintendents, as well as the State Public Charter School Authority, are well aware of this program.
They're well aware.
I met with a group last Saturday. We were talking about this project and, you know, just touching base of the superintendents to make sure
that we're going to
this
still have
was
the
a wise
flexibility
use
in the
of
money.
funds, getting these funds directly to classroom teachers who have endured so much with this shift, and they know what their students need. They're the ones that are closest to our students. And so those superintendents too will be amplifying. So a multi-layered approach, making sure that we're continuing the dashboard that they have shown us for tracking the projects and the educators is very robust. So we can sort by school, we can sort by grade level. We'll be able to sort by, you know, standards, all of those components. But to your point, I think it's going to take, I know it's going to take all of us to reach our educators to make sure that they are aware of this opportunity.
How important data is.
You also brought up the equity component of the project. This is a very large scale. It will be first in, first out. So being targeted up front, we will reassess in December where we are with the expenditure of funds. As I mentioned earlier, Hawaii did a smaller project, but the funds and teachers applying went at a much faster rate than anyone predicted in Hawaii. So I hope that, I mean, that's good news, right? That the funding was
utilized,
taken advantage of in a quick time frame. But we are going to need to work together to make sure that everyone is aware of this opportunity.
I can't wait till we hear this early start.
Thank you, and I appreciate that response, and I also appreciate you kind of noting that you're gonna take some time to evaluate it and look forward to seeing some of the results of those evaluations that come out and looking at the breakdowns based on the available data of where the funds are flowing, so that we have the potential to try and modify our outreach and interventions to make sure that it gets where it needs to go. And the other thing that I'll just note too is I've seen a lot of elementary participation and less middle school and even less high school. So those are just some of the things that I'm interested in seeing how we can look to support if this initiative moves forward. So thanks again for the response, and thank you, Mr. Chair, for allowing me the question.
Thank you, Assemblyman. And then I'm hoping it's our last comment, maybe ever, on this subject, but probably not, is from Assemblyman Roberts. And Assemblyman Roberts, please go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I'll be very brief. I just want to thank the Department of Education for going back and whittling that down, and basically a thanks to Donor Choose for picking up the tab for the overhead and making this a success. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Assemblyman Roberts. And so based on, I think, a lot of the interest that we've had, and then some of the questions that have come up both previously and then this morning, still morning, yeah. I would request that that you put together a quarterly report that you could present to IFC that just kind of shows a summary of the funding that's been awarded and a listing of educator projects and that have been funded, not funded. Some of that information you were talking about that you're aggregating right now. If you could put that into a report kind of format, provide it to IFC on a quarterly basis, we'd appreciate that. And that way, I think a lot of our questions that we have will be answered. And then if we spent as much time talking about this subject, talking to educators and teachers in schools in our districts, I think we'd have spent all that money already. So if you can give us that information, it seems like there's quite a desire to share this with folks in our districts.
The transparency is critical, Mr. Chair's noted, and I'd be more than happy to provide those reports on a quarterly basis.
Oh, more than happy, right?
Thank you. I
We'll see.
appreciate that. Any further comments or questions on not just this subject, but any of the other items that we just heard taken together with NDE?
Mm.
And apologies, I have to scan my both screens to see if I have anybody. It doesn't look as if we do. So thank you, Superintendent. Thank you, Ms. Harks. Thank you, Mr. Moore, and everyone else and Ms. Gonzalez for joining us this morning and helping us walk through these items. So if there's no further comments or questions on these items, I would entertain a motion to approve all 5 of them together. Yes, 5, that is correct. Item 23, F23, 24, 25, 26, and 28.
Mr. Chairman, I would move approval of all the items with the reporting requirement mentioned by you earlier.
Okay.
Second. Thank you, Vice Chair, for adding that reporting requirement to the motion.
There's another one. They're going to pass out one. We need to talk.
Aye. All right, I see. One. And any opposed, nay? Motion passes unanimously, and thank you very much. And we can move on to item 53. And item 53 is also aging and disability services, home and community-based services. And we have Ms. Schmidt still with us to walk us through item 53, please.
Let's understand what that moment.
Thank you, Dina Schmidt, for the record. This work program requests an addition of $11.5 million in federal American Rescue Plan funding under the Older Americans Act. This funding is used to ensure older adults and caregivers have access to essential services to help them maintain their independence and help during the COVID pandemic. This work program is creating 7 new positions that are needed to manage the fiscal, grant management, and reporting activities related to the additional funds we've received over the past 2 years. As you know, during the session, there was really not a lot of opportunity, and we discussed a lot during session the fact that our agency has grown. We received caseload and caseload growth, but we received no new support staff in our fiscal, IT, and HR units.
Okay.
To support the ongoing activity.
Enough is enough. They're doing.
Chair Carlton made a motion. Senator Dennis made a second. Any discussion on that motion from the members? All right, I see none. So all in favor, aye. Okay, thank you. Any opposed, nay? And Senator Harris, I know you're still having some video issues. Could you either raise your hand or verbally give me a yes? I have a text yes, and so I'll have to, because she's having technical difficulties right now. So I will see if that counts with staff, but all the members present, it passes.
And very likely our plan is to do the same thing next year as a one-time benefit when school starts, because we know when school starts. I know when school starts, the money that it costs for school supplies and things like that. And we have concerns of these families not being able to buy school supplies. So that's the intention, is to do the same thing next year. But if the caseload goes far above, too far above what it was anticipated for, we may have to regroup, have conversation.
Please go ahead.
Thank you, Chair Brooks. And so when you say September and October, can you give us some specific target dates? Because
we are proposing to strengthen and align childcare systems, including alignment of policies, regulations, data systems, and the creation of a childcare network hub that crosses all childcare sectors and tailors services to individual provider needs.
As an example, for home-based providers, services will include funding toward technology advancements, shared services, and business training. While all who's responsible for our childcare.
Let's just
Thank
get
you.
it.
So as far as the diaper
And then
bank
after
goes, I
this,
know
I'll
we had,
just
you had mentioned in your
shut it
previous
down
comments
so
that
you
you were
can
going
watch
to
it
partner with folks that are
and
already
learn a little
performing this. You would never think a diaper bank would be difficult to manage, but it is. I found that out about 2 years ago. So I'm assuming that you will refer people to your contractors, and this will only be for TANF recipients. Is that correct?
Robert Thompson, for the record, the $150,000 could only be used for households with children, which obviously would, yes, would have children that must meet the poverty level of TANF. They do not necessarily have to be on TANF. We could write that into the request if that's the suggestion on the table. But historically, they have to meet a level of poverty. They don't necessarily need to be on TANF to utilize these types of funds.
And my concern is that doing income verification for folks can make the application more complicated and take a little bit longer. And I know through experience, when someone shows up at our front door and needs diapers for the baby, it's because they need diapers and you don't want to have to make them wait. And you're going to know who your contractors are. So letting them know where they can go rather than people, otherwise they're not going to know this benefit is available. They're not going to know where to go get it. It's something new. So I'm hoping we can communicate with the current clients to make sure that they understand. And please write very good criteria. So any folks out there that want to provide this service to the folks they're already helping know exactly what the roadmap is and what type of documents that they'll need to be able to provide the service. I know we have gone really far with our particular, the couple of organizations I've worked with, helping them set up diaper banks. We just need to have clear guidelines to make sure that we do it the way you'd like us to do it. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. And do we have any other questions or comments from any of the members on this item?
Please share.
All right. I do not see any. I just wanted to thank you, Mr. Thompson and Ms. Swearingen. You guys are on the front lines of providing help and aid to Nevadans that need it the most at a time that has to have, well, is historically the worst. And so I appreciate everything that you've done for Nevadans who've suffered through these economic times that we're in and continue to suffer. And you guys out there, you folks out there are on the front lines, and we appreciate your work. All right, so seeing none, I would take a motion to, or seeing no other comments or questions, I would take a motion to approve this item.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
All right, I have a motion from Vice Chair Carlton to approve item F71, that work program. And I have a second from Senator Dennis. Any discussions on that motion? All right, I don't see any, so all in favor, aye. And all opposed, nay. And so the motion passes unanimously, and we can move on to our next item. I still am like ingrained to try to assign a floor statement to someone every time I say that. All right, so that moves us on to item 73. And with us, we have to present that. We have Deputy Administrator Chappell, and I believe we have Ms. Askew as well, from Welfare and Supportive Services, Child Assistance and Development. And if you could walk us through our work program C55307, which is F73.
Good afternoon, Chair and members of the committee. For the record, my name is Margaret Chappell, and I serve as the Deputy Administrator of Field Operations Support for the Division of Welfare and Supportive Services. With me this morning is Social Services Chief Christelle Askew, who's responsible for our Child Care Development Program. Agenda item number 73 is requesting authority in an unprecedented amount for this program of $222,425,189 in federal American Rescue Plan
no
funds.
oversight.
We plan to use it to invest in child care stabilization grant funds, to provide resources, technical assistance, and professional development to child care providers, families seeking child care, and systems change. I'll turn it over to Christelle to provide an overview and answer questions. Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you. Good afternoon. This is Christelle Askew, Chief of the Child Care Program for the record. The field of child care has many challenges. Child care providers run on an extremely thin margin, especially home-based providers. And as a result, child care staff often learn a comparatively low wage. And yet we have very high expectations of the staff and providers to produce high quality care. Providers haven't been able to increase their income because it would be at the expense of families who already can't afford childcare. And sometimes when families are struggling to pay, the providers waive the cost. The fact is, many providers didn't start up their childcare to be business owners. They're in it to work with the children. So we're here today to talk about solutions to some of these challenges in the form of a one-time infusion of ARP childcare stabilization grant funds, of which 90% must go directly to childcare providers to support their businesses. That is a federal requirement of these funds, and states are encouraged to allot at least 6 months of operating costs. We're utilizing our childcare resource and referral partners, the Children's Cabinet and the Urban League, to disseminate the funds directly to eligible childcare providers. For the remaining 10% of the funds, states are encouraged to essentially reimagine and restructure the childcare industry and also to increase its capacity. As we continue to develop our capacity building project, our plan is to target underserved populations and childcare deserts with a focus on recruitment of home-based providers and micro centers. Micro centers are childcare sites developed within existing establishments to meet families where they're at. In order to restructure the childcare industry in Nevada, we are proposing to strengthen and align childcare systems, including alignment of policies, regulations, data systems, and the creation of a childcare network hub that crosses all childcare sectors and tailors services to individual provider needs. As an example, for home-based providers, services will include funding toward technology advancements, shared services, and business training, while all provider types will receive workforce support and assistance.
Now, I just want to make this clear. They're going to upgrade home-based businesses and upgrade their technology and upgrade some other things. But they're not going to ensure access for the people who look like me. I'm sorry. I was confused. I thought this was America. And I thought they were using federal dollars that the poor people generated. And I think the poor people need to have a conversation in this because I just don't see giving it to people who are creating businesses. I mean, this whole concept of building businesses on the backs of people is unacceptable.
Assistance with capacity building, for example, small modifications or equipment. The goal is to help existing and newly recruited providers with the business piece of childcare. Some of the services we are implementing have been shown to result in a decrease in administrative burden, an increase in revenue, and significant cost savings to providers. Essentially, we're helping providers do business in a more efficient and sustainable way. Additionally, to build a comprehensive childcare hub across all sectors, we're targeting existing programs in Nevada that need funding to support them to become more robust, like the Teach Scholarship Program and the local early childhood advisory councils, and an expansion of the Nevada Youth First pilot. And I want to quickly touch on a few things before we take questions. First, I would like to clarify that the Child Care and Development Program does not do direct services. So we will be utilizing our existing partners, the Children's Cabinet and the Urban League, who are already in the community providing support and have a trusted relationship with providers and families.
No data.
However, our office is involved in all of the projects at a development and implementation level.
Yeah, that's
And
how
we
come
will be
nobody's
conducting
getting
an
any services.
evaluation of all projects and vendors to ensure these projects meet the desired outcomes. In summary, this proposal includes funding in the amount of $217.9 million toward provider supports in the form of grants for operating costs and the establishment of
Did you hear
systems to
that?
support the business of childcare and capacity growth.
Capacity
4.3
development
million in family
on the
supports,
backs of
including
who?
an analysis to restructure the child care subsidy program, a robust outreach program to get families involved, and a
Mm.
community health worker program to
A
reduce
community health
disparities in
worker program.
healthcare access.
And that's
and
like
to
20
facilitate a
hours. I
connection
should
to
go back
other
and find that
resources and
one.
services.
Let you read what the community health worker
190,000
program
for
really
systems
does in Nevada.
supports in the
Maybe
form of
next
grants
video.
to local early childhood advisory councils
Mm.
and establish pilot projects aimed at
Pilot
increasing
projects.
capacity, quality, and access
And
based on the
increasing
needs of the
capacity for
local
who?
communities. Additionally, we've been allotted over $4 million in ongoing funding toward our base
$4
child
million.
care fund.
Did you hear that?
Lastly, I want to let you know that Margot Chappell, our deputy administrator,
Margot
would like to
Chappell.
wrap up with some additional information after we take questions.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. I had too many questions. You didn't answer any of them. Did you not?
Thank you.
You didn't hear the prior
I know
video.
we have quite a few questions.
Mm,
This is
really
a
huge
enormous
amount of
money
enormous
to go towards this one activity. Incredibly important.
incredibly
And,
important with
you
no
know,
data.
I have seen firsthand and had conversations both in this capacity and
Zero
my
data.
professional and personal capacity.
Understand.
That one of the biggest roadblocks to recovery and expansion of our economy is childcare, and it's I'm grateful that the federal government identified that and we fought for that and getting some of this $6 billion that's come into our state and this amount of money, because I do not see how we have make a recovery unless we really look at childcare and what that does to Nevada working families. And so I think I will start off with, and I think I have several questions, but I just want to see what some of the other members address. But I think I have Assemblywoman Miller up first, and then I believe I had Assemblywoman Peters after that. But Assemblywoman Miller, did you have a question?
Yes, I do. Thank you, Chair. My question is, if you could please provide, well, it's not really a question, but if you could provide and discuss in detail the timeline, the exact timeline for the application and distribution for each of the proposed rounds for this provider stabilization grant.
Absolutely. This is Christelle Askew for the record. So the way we intend to push these out, round one will be our family, friend, and neighbor providers, and those will be rolling out in September. And round two will begin rolling out for family child care providers that are licensed, our centers and our out of school time providers. Those will be rolling out in October.
Follow up, Chair.
Please go ahead.
Thank you, Chair Brooks. And so when you say September and October, can you give us some specific target dates? Because we know that this is imperative for everyone in the community and all of these partners to know the exact dates of when everything will be due and when they can anticipate that decisions will be made, and of course the actual disbursement of funds. So September's pretty vague when it comes to grant applications. Do you have some specific dates already identified?
This is Christelle Askew for the record. By the last day of September, September 30th, we will have the notice of funding opportunity and the applications posted and available for the family, friend, and neighbor providers. And by October 31st, the last day of October, we will have the applications online and ready, and the notice of funding opportunity will have already been posted.
Reimbursement,
for all
get
of
that
the providers prior to that.
And will there be information prior to that to let everyone know that this is intended, that this will happen? So, because if we say by September 30th,
Everybody can
it's kind of
apply
like
for
I'm
it. You know,
catching
it's
it
just
behind.
free
Will there
money.
be announcements before to
Mhm.
prepare people that this is coming?
So this is
Understand what's
Christelle
coming.
asking for the record. We've had several town hall meetings to discuss the fact that these grants will be coming out. The
Mm.
notice of funding opportunity will be posted by September 30th, but the actual rollout of the grants will go well into the next calendar year. So there'll be, it is our assumption that there will be plenty of time to identify and allow application for all providers over a period of time.
Free money.
But for the first round, which are our family, friend, and neighbor providers, those are already registered with the Urban League of the Children's Cabinet. So we've already identified those providers.
Yes, of
And
course.
so the outreach to them will be a little quicker and easier to get those rolled out.
Because they're already operating without
Okay, thank
servicing
you.
our
Thank you,
community.
Chair Brooks.
Thank you, Assemblywoman.
And know
I
that these are
believe
not
we
going to
have
be Head
Assemblywoman
Start
Peters
centers.
up next.
Zero Head Start.
Thank you, Chair. My question has to do with your, let's see, the subgrants to our community-based organizations. Can you talk a little bit about what the eligibility requirements
Please
would
do.
be for those community-based organizations to apply for those subgrants?
This is Christelle asking for the record. So we will be putting out a request for application, and we will require that nonprofits, they have to be a nonprofit to apply. And then the outcomes would be that they will be able to connect with the community, not only to help them learn about the grants that are available to them, but all of the services that are available. And over time to also incorporate recruitment of providers toward the subsidy program and to access the grants.
Wow. How exciting.
Thank you. Just as a follow-up thought, I will be curious to see how much interest you get from the different regions of the state with regard, and especially to this particular piece. So I look forward to seeing how that ends up breaking down.
Me too.
This is Christelle asking. Thank you for the question.
Thank you, Assemblywoman Peters, and thank you, Ms. Askew. I believe Senator Dondero Loop has a question as well.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My question is, what are the expected benefits to the providers of that unified information system? And what's the timeline of that new system?
Brand new system under the American Rescue
I'll
Act.
ask you for the record. So in terms of the benefits, there are basically three parts to the $3.9 million toward these activities. With the Wonder School proposal, what they do is they help the provider with the business side of childcare, including licensing, website creation for marketing, and they implement technology that helps streamline
Business
billing
development.
and maximizes enrollment, and essentially managing all of the things needed to operate a profitable, high-quality early childhood program. And that is a pilot that we intend to expand out. In terms of the Kith and Kin project, that project is to go and identify providers in the community that we know are currently serving children that are not at this time registered or regulated in any way, and wrap them into services, all of the services that we have available, training, our child care hub, and just to make sure that they have supplies and resources that they need. And then the third piece, the hub itself, is to bring all of the various projects, and vendors together under one hub, so that we can work together as a team to reduce duplication and streamline all of the services.
Oh, wow.
And in terms of the timeline, as soon as we have authority over the funds, our intention is to amend the subawards with these funds.
They're going to amend the
Most of the
subawards. As soon as they
projects are
get
gonna
the
kick off
authority,
pretty
as soon as they get the
quickly.
money.
The
They
Wonder
haven't
School
gotten
project,
it
they
yet.
intend to start with their outreach and recruitment immediately. And then they'll have the technology implemented in November or December of this calendar year.
How exciting. All that
Thank you.
money,
Thank you very much.
zero regulation.
Thank you, Senator. You had touched on a few of the other items, including workforce
Development or
workforce recruitment and retention.
recruitment
I
and
think I might have some questions
retention.
on that as well, but I know
Get you a
Assemblywoman
job, boo.
Corlo does.
This is job creation.
Thank you, Chair Buck. I do have a quick question about the $1,000 wage incentive. How would the eligibility for the wage incentive be determined? What is the timeline for the distribution of the incentive?
Incentive.
This is Christelle asking for the record. So the application for the wages for staff will be embedded in the Nevada Registry website. The Nevada Registry will be vetting all of the applicants through an application process to ensure they are currently working as childcare staff.
They
in the
have to
community.
be currently working as
And
childcare
that's how
staff.
they will be vetted. Also,
Wow.
additionally, they will be vetted through the providers themselves. They'll be reaching out to the providers to ensure that they are currently employed that way as well as a second way to vet them.
Some kind of
And then
unemployment
the
hookup going
timeline
on.
would be October of this calendar year to have those checks go out to staff.
Thank you. And if I could do a quick follow-up, Chair. Could you elaborate a little bit more on what that vetting process looks like? I know we've had some fraud in other areas. Could you just explain a little bit how that might,
other areas?
what might be done to help prevent that fraud?
What's going to prevent fraud?
This is
Because this
Christelle
looks
asking
like
for the
fraud
record.
to
So
me.
the Nevada Registry is actually a system that tracks early childhood staff throughout the state. So they, in order to be registered, they must be on the early childhood career ladder. So they would be on that ladder. And then additionally, the staff from the Nevada Registry will be contacting the childcare providers to ensure they have a current list of all active staff. Additionally, they have to self-attest on their application that they are currently working, although we're going to be vetting that, and also that they aren't currently receiving unemployment.
Thank
You
you
would
so
have
much.
something to do with unemployment, but
Thank you,
Ooh, Lord,
Assemblywoman.
help
My
me.
question is, the bulk of this particular bucket, 12 points. What was it, $12.8 million? I believe $12.8 million are going to these one-time payments, wage incentives to registered childcare staff. Is there going to be? Do you have a plan for measuring the success of retention or expansion by doing that? Is there a metric that you're
there
going to
just a
use
bonus going to
this help?
childcare
I mean,
providers?
obviously that money is going to help those folks who are working in that field, but if our position is that this is meant for recruitment and retention, is there going to be a way that you're going to be able to measure success of this?
This is Christelle asking for the record. That is a great question. We intend on evaluating all of these projects to ensure that the outcomes that are desired do manifest. And then we will be looking at those staff to identify whether or not we were able to retain them over time.
Thank you. And I just had another question. I shouldn't say it's final one because other members might have questions, but it's in regard to. Sorry, I'm trying to make sure that make sure that everyone has the ability to have a question here, or get their questions answered. It really was around the community health worker pilot program. But before I do that, I want to make sure I give the opportunity to Assemblywoman Titus had a question, as well as Assemblywoman Monroe Moreno. Assemblywoman Titus, do you want to go ahead?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. Mine really is kind of piggybacking on what you asked about how do you document the success of making sure that this program indeed expands access to childcare. And I'm wondering where are you with the data of what's the void? How many more childcare facilities do we need in the state? How many students potentially of the pre-K kids could potentially have a childcare access? Where are we lacking? Do you have a number on that and what the goal is with this program?
This is Christelle asking for the record, and that's another great question. I don't have those numbers at my fingertips, but I would be happy to get back with you with that data.
No, please do.
Because I think, again, we have to measure what we're doing with it, with this money, and if indeed, if it is successful. And then again, about increasing money and employees, what's the average wage? Do you have any idea of a person working in this industry at this time?
This is Christelle asking for the record. It is my understanding that most staff are paid below $15 an hour. It is my understanding that the average pay is $10 an hour.
So we were looking, one of the goals here is number one, there's not enough employees, as was mentioned earlier, not just for this industry, but across the spectrum. So what is your goal then? How will you measure success? Will you look at what their salaries are increased if we do this, and how will you be able to do that?
This is Christelle asking for the record. As stated earlier, we will be evaluating all of these projects for success in terms of retention of staff and how their wages are impacted. There is a piece of the operating cost grant which requires 20% of the operating cost grant funding to go towards staff. And they can use those funds to temporarily increase the wage to those staff.
Did I hear you mention before that this is really only to the non-profit programs that are out there, and none of the other childcare facilities are eligible for this?
These operating cost grants are going out to family, friend, and neighbor providers. All licensed family childcare providers are also eligible. All licensed childcare centers are eligible aside from Head Start.
Aside from Head
out of
Start.
school time programs are also eligible.
That's why I want to.
Thanks for that clarity, and thank you for the
Want to
question,
wait
Mr.
for
Chair.
that. Aside from Head Start.
Thank you, Assemblywoman. Up next, I believe we have Assemblywoman Moreno.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And as I was looking over our notes, I see that the sub-grantee will be Children's Cabinet, which is in Northern Nevada. And I was just wondering, what is their relationship with the Southern Nevada community? I know we have a large population of children here and of childcare facilities. And as we look at the community health workers, what's that connection? What's their connection to Southern Nevada, and how will they work together to make sure that we're addressing the issues with childcare both in the north, the south, and in our rural communities?
Okay, that's enough. Let's just stop the share, because I'm getting a little tired of hearing that over and over again. The important thing for you to understand is that in America, there are just guidelines. You get me? And they have to fulfill the guidelines. The guidance for Head Start is in the early part of this video. The reality is that this is criminal behavior. And as Nevada is a state that has always been involved in criminal behavior, perhaps they have just blurred the line where they don't understand that regulations are real. So we will see what ultimately happens with this American Rescue money and the learning laws and the requirements for Head Start and the requirements for the Early Start program that were under the American Rescue Plan, and they didn't have to go for free childcare. So shall we all pay attention? Today's August the 18th or the 19th. Let's see what happens, shall we? Until we meet again, this is Darlene Anderson saying like, subscribe, and follow me. I'm on the Parent Empowerment Hour on Anchor. And of course, this is my YouTube channel. Like, subscribe, and follow me. Share, share, share.